Chapter 223. Within the octagonal hall. Luo Feng looked at the huge crystal coffin in front of him. The handsome, white, godlike black-robed man laid there quietly. This man was the one who dominated the universe, with 9 undying slaves under him, the master of Mo planet. In his heart, Luo Feng had always admired such an absolute warrior, and he was very clear, having a teacher to teach and not having a teacher to teach were 2 completely different paths. What's more, that black-robed child Babata stared at him. Did he have a choice? How do I become your disciple? Luo Feng looked at Babata. Very good, your choice is very correct. Babata raised his head. Because of your choice, the entire earth will benefit from it. With the help of the demon Babata, Luo Feng, your name will spread throughout the entire Milky Way galaxy, even to countless planets in the Black Dragon Mountain star field. Countless humans will worship you and look up to you. One word from you will be able to decide the rise and fall of a planet's race, you. Luo Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry, interrupting the excited Babata. How do I become your disciple? Oh, in theory, when the master accepts a disciple, he should invite all his friends and make a grand entrance. However, the master is already dead, Mo planet has been destroyed, so everything is simple. Babata looked at the crystal coffin. Suddenly his voice became low. You only need to kowtow 8 times in front of the master's body, and that will be enough. Luo Feng nodded. Looking at the crystal coffin, the master of Mo planet, who had lived for over 60 million years, had already been dead for 50,000 years. And now he had become his disciple. Pring! Luo Feng knelt down and then kowtowed 8 times. From today onwards, you are the master's 5th disciple, and also his last disciple, the only surviving disciple. Babata looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng immediately understood his teacher, the master of Mo planet. The other disciples were all dead. Just what kind of enemy did his teacher offend? Even the entire Mo planet was destroyed. Luo Feng, the master is already dead. He can't personally teach you, hence, I'll be teaching you on behalf of the master. Babata looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded. Don't worry, the master left everything to me before he died. Also, I'm a living AI, I've always been following the master. Back then, when the master was teaching his disciples, I can show you a video. Hence you don't have to worry. Babata was very confident. Hearing this, Luo Feng was completely relieved. I'll give you a spatial storage item first. The black-robed Babata casually tossed it out, and a silver light flew over. Luo Feng extended his hand and grabbed, opening his palm. It looked like a normal silver ring. Storage space items can be made into many different forms, such as rings, wrist guards, and many more. Babata smiled. But making a space ring is very difficult. It was considered a luxury item in the universe. This spatial ring is made of a special material that can fuse with your skin. Luo Feng wore the ring on his left middle finger. It flowed silently like mercury and entered his skin. Luo Feng felt a wave of coldness, and then the ring on his finger completely disappeared. Infiltrate it with a trace of spirit power, and let your spirit imprint integrate into it. Just this once, there won't be a need in the future. Babata said. Spiritual imprint? Luo Feng was confused. How do I do that? Stupid. Babata was so angry that he grinned. Spiritual imprint. No matter how strong a person's soul becomes, the essence of their soul will always be slightly different. No 2 souls are exactly the same. You just need to permeate it with your psychic power. Don't worry about anything else. Oh. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. A thread of spirit power swiftly flowed along his arm and into his finger, permeating into the ring. The ring started to change in just a moment. Luo Feng had a feeling that the ring had become his own limbs. He didn't even need his spirit power to clearly know everything within the ring. The inside of the ring was an empty space. Its capacity was extremely large. According to Luo Feng's estimations, The height was about 100 m. This ring's space is rectangular, according to your Earth's measurement unit. Its length is 612 m, width is 521 m, height is 108 m. After the decimal point, it doesn't count. Babata looked proudly at Luo Feng, almost as though he wanted to see Luo Feng's shocked expression. Luo Feng nodded. Damn, don't you know how hard it is to cut out a piece of space in the universe and integrate it into an item? And it's such a large space? Babata was very unhappy with Luo Feng's expression. If the strong warriors of the universe knew about this, your little life would be gone. However, if you don't say anything, no one will know. Luo Feng was shocked as he heard this. Creating a space ring is actually cutting out a piece of space in the universe? That's sick. No wonder even the arrogant Babata said that creating a space ring is extremely difficult. Let's go up. Babata said. This crystal coffin. Luo Feng looked at the coffin. The black-robed child Babata turned to look at the body in the crystal coffin. His expression was complicated, saying softly, Boss, from today on, I'll follow your disciple, don't worry, leave everything to me. His voice was very soft, so soft that Luo Feng couldn't hear it clearly, following which Babata pointed to the ground. Crack, 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 the crystal coffin began to slowly sink. After a while it sank into the ground began to close up. Let's go up. Babata became much calmer. Whoosh, whoosh. Luo Feng followed behind Babata, following the tunnel and flying straight to the round hall above. In the round hall, the lights shone brightly. Luo Feng looked at the 6 corpses in front of him, exclaiming within, these 6 corpses. 5 of them were undying fighters. Luo Feng. Babata pointed to a golden skeleton on the ground. This was Master's second disciple, and also one of the most outstanding disciples. However, during that battle, Master was being chased. The enemy's attack even passed through the UNMO planet ship and reached the ship's interior. The undying fighters were still fine, but he died immediately. Passed through the ship and reached the interior? Luo Feng was shocked. What level was this second disciple of mine? Luo Feng asked. Sector Lord level. Babata said. Luo Feng was silent. A Sector Lord was killed by a super undying fighter that passed through the ship. That undying fighter's true target was probably the master of the UNMO planet. Luo Feng suddenly stared, looking at Babata. Babata, universe-level fighters can battle on a white dwarf star. This Sector Lord fighter can destroy a planet with a flip of his hand. This enemy's attack passed through the ship and still killed him. But this ship hasn't even turned to dust. What material is this ship made of? You've finally realized. Babata pointed to the surrounding walls. Look, the dents on the ground, the dents on the walls. That's caused by undying fighters fighting. Even an undying fighter can only make a dent in the ground. This UNMO planet ship was a ship my master spent a lot of effort and paid a hefty price to get, and named it the UNMO planet. Price? Even if you sold the entire Earth, it wouldn't even be enough to buy a tiny bit of this ship. Babata raised his head. Right, didn't you pick up a blood-red shard before? Oh yes. Luo Feng nodded. That shard, its power was indeed ridiculously strong. That was a shard that fell off the edge of the ship when it crashed into Earth and sank deep underground. Babata laughed. Don't think that it was caused by the impact. Even if it crashed into a neutron star, this ship wouldn't break. Actually, it was that absolute warrior's attack that caused the ship to be damaged, and the shard that broke off. Only at the start, the shard was protected by the ship's protective barrier. When the ship crashed into Earth and the barrier closed, only then did the shard fall off. Babata said. Shard? It's that sharp? Luo Feng asked. Let me show you the exterior of this ship. Babata pointed to the empty space in front. Who? Suddenly, a 3D virtual model appeared out of thin air, just like a real miniaturized spacecraft. It was a blood-red triangular spaceship. However, the 3 corners were all curved, and the sides of the ship were extremely thin and sharp. One look and you could tell it was ferocious. The moment the UNMO planet ship picks up speed in the universe, with the sharpness of the edges, even if it passes by some meteorite fields, it can easily cut through them. It doesn't even affect its speed. Babata said proudly. You used it to cut your battle boots, it's a waste of resources. That's a material that even an undying warrior would find hard to destroy. Ah! Luo Feng realized. So it was just a shard of the ship, and not the blade shard he thought it was. However, the UNMO planet ship is heavily damaged. It can't even take off right now, otherwise I wouldn't have waited so long on Earth for 50,000 years. Babata shook his head. It can't even take off, much less repair the body. Just keep this shard, when the time comes I'll teach you how to use it, it's much stronger than your soaring shuttle. Luo Feng asked, This shard has a special way of using it? Of course. Babata laughed. Earth's training methods, battle methods are too crude and primitive. Now let's talk about the inheritance your teacher left for you. Babata said. Luo Feng listened carefully. The pile of Muya crystals from before, you've already kept them. Babata said. Muya crystals, what's their use? Luo Feng asked. Muya crystals are treasures used for training, but also for raising beasts and plant life. They have many uses. Babata said. Just 1 crystal is enough to let a student level 8 or 9 spend a month's worth of work, directly step into the Star Traveler level 1. Of course, the most common use in the universe is to raise beasts and plant life. For example, Hong's Cloud Contact Vine, using the Muya crystal will allow it to grow very quickly. And from now on, don't absorb energy from the universe, the efficiency is too low, you'll waste most of your time on absorbing energy, don't even think of reaching the universe level in your lifetime. From now on, use the Muya crystals to train, I have plenty of them here. Babata said. P.S. 2 chapters completed, tomorrow Luo Feng will return to Jiangnan headquarters city. Cheers. Chapter 224. More than that? That's too extravagant. Luo Feng could feel the wealth in Babata's voice. Luo Feng, it's not that I want to criticize you. As the only descendant of the UNMO planet master, you have to look further, don't always look at things from the perspective of a normal person from Earth. Babata said unhappily. If the master was still alive, as his only descendant, your position would be even higher than the emperor of the Silver Blue Empire. In the vast universe, the disciples of the undying warriors, which one of them didn't use countless treasures to nurture them? You have to understand. 1,000 galaxies, normally only 1 sector lord will emerge. Hence, to have a 100% chance of becoming a sector lord, you have to surpass others from the start, your starting point is already very low. What's the point of using the crystals? Compared to the other undying warrior's disciples, your treatment will be much worse. Babata had followed the master of the UNMO planet for tens of millions of years. His vision was very high. Luo Feng, I understand. Babata continued, you rely on the Muya crystals for your training, and your armor for the Star Traveler level, your teacher prepared the Black God set for you. Since you already have it, then forget it. Also, I have a young cloud contact vine, when the time comes you can use it to protect yourself or use it to attack enemies, it's the best companion. Cloud contact vine? Luo Feng had heard of this name from Hong and Thunder God's conversation before. The cloud contact vine is an extremely popular plant life form in the universe, it's very popular with the strong warriors and their disciples. Babata said, during the process of nurturing, the cloud contact vine can constantly evolve and grow stronger. There are many ways for the cloud contact vine to evolve, the main thing is that it can absorb the treasures it consumes. If it's on Earth, it can only absorb the universe's energy, at most it's a Star Traveler level 7 or 8. However, if you have countless Muya crystals for it to consume, it can have a 100% chance of reaching the universe level. Babata's eyes gleamed. More than half of the master's wealth was used to nurture his cloud contact vine. That cloud contact vine eventually grew to an undying level. The master relied on the cloud contact vine many times to escape calamities. Only the last time the enemy was too strong, the cloud contact vine also died. More than half of the master's wealth? Luo Feng couldn't imagine. A peerless expert with 9 undying servants, more than half of his wealth was shocking. Logically speaking, this Yun-Mo planet ship was already extremely expensive. But it was only a small portion of the Yun-Mo planet master's wealth. Babata, how many crystals do we have here? Will it be enough for the cloud contact vine to reach the universe level? Luo Feng asked. Dream on. Universe level. How many Muya crystals would that require? Countless. Babata shook his head. It's not enough for you to cultivate. The Muya crystals I have here are only enough for you to reach the star level. It's definitely not enough for a glutton like the cloud contact vine. Don't worry, I'll tell you how to cultivate the cloud contact vine later. There are many ways to cultivate the cloud contact vine. It's easy to know the method, but the countless treasures needed to cultivate it, that's the hard part. Luo Feng listened carefully. Master also left you a spirit weapon, suitable for star travelers to use. Its name was Arc Cutter Disc. However, it is also a basic weapon. It is not much different from your soaring shuttle. You can decide on your own which weapon to use in the future. Babata revealed a smile. Soaring shuttle and Arc Cutter Disc, those are secondary. Actually, your strongest weapon right now is the shard at the edge of the ship. Luo Feng nodded. Of course he understood. That shard was a material that even an undying would find hard to destroy. Its value was obvious even with his eyes closed. Luo Feng listened carefully. Babata's little face was serious. This concerns your little life. HM? Luo Feng was shocked. This shard's material is extremely valuable. Even domain lords would fight madly for it. Even though sector lords wouldn't go crazy, they would still covet it. Babata said. The moment a powerful warrior sees it, stealing it would be a small matter. He might even kill you to see if you have any other treasures on you. That would be terrible. Luo Feng's heart trembled. My God. Something that a domain lord would fight madly for? Just this shard? Relax, there are very few domain lords and sector lords that recognize the hybrid copper essence. What's more, in the Milky Way, if you really meet a domain lord, you can go by a lottery. Babata joked. Think of a way to change the appearance of the hybrid copper essence. Even a sector lord who knows about it wouldn't be able to recognize it. Luo Feng nodded. It was hard to even meet a domain lord in the Milky Way. What was there to be afraid of? Master, what I prepared for you when you were in the Star Traveler level was the Black God set for defense, the Arc Cutter Blade for attack, the Muya crystals for training, the Space Ring for storage, and his most important training inheritance. Babata said, this was given to you when you were in the Star Traveler level. That's all? Luo Feng looked at Babata. Babata nodded. When you're weak, taking a bunch of treasures is courting death. Hence, Master left 3 accounts for you in the Universe Galaxy Bank, for you to have access to at the star level, universe level and domain lord level. When you reach the domain lord level, you'll be a local tyrant, able to take away the huge amounts of wealth and treasures. Luo Feng nodded. This fallen teacher had indeed prepared meticulously, actually leaving 3 accounts for himself. Only those that suit you are good. There are many treasures that you can't use even if you get them. Holding them in your hands will only invite trouble. Babata said. 15,000 underground, within the Yun-Mo planet ship. Luo Feng was very satisfied with these rewards. Even though it wasn't a shocking amount, but what the Yun-Mo planet master left behind was very useful. From the offensive weapons, defensive armor, training energy, storage items, battle companion cloud contact vine, and even the training inheritance, everything was prepared. Luo Feng, actually these bodies are the real priceless treasures. The black-robed Babata stared at the bodies. These are all undying bodies. This is wealth that would make even sector lords go crazy over. Luo Feng looked at the bodies on the floor, the 4 undying bodies before him. Other than one that resembled an Earth-human, the rest were from other races. The 5th undying was from the automaton race. However, if you dare take out the undying bodies now, you're courting death. And you don't have the ability to use these bodies. Keep them all. We'll see how it goes in the future. Babata said. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. A formless energy enveloped the area, swiftly keeping the 5 undying bodies, leaving only a golden skeleton in the hall. Your senior skeleton, a sector lord skeleton, is considered valuable, but it's still your senior. When you leave Earth, or banish his skeleton to the vast universe, let him return to the stars. Or find a secret place to bury him. Babata looked at the golden skeleton, his little face filled with a complex expression. Back when he followed the Yun-Mo planet master across the universe, he often bullied the master's disciples. Now the master was dead, the Yun-Mo planet was destroyed, the once glorious and huge power had vanished into thin air. Even though Babata's words were arrogant, he was very clear. He was just a living AI, a virtual existence without any power. The only thing he was proud of was his knowledge and experience. Hence he understood, without his teacher, seniors and elders to protect him, Luo Feng's path to becoming a strong warrior was very difficult. He had to be careful, including the one at the entrance. The 6 undying bodies and the senior's skeleton were all kept into his space ring. The ship's entrance. The black-robed child and a youth stood there. This Yun-Mo planet ship is heavily damaged, it's no longer able to fly. Babata shook his head. To repair a ship like the Yun-Mo planet ship, the entire Silver Blue Empire doesn't have the ability to do so. Maybe the Black Dragon Mountain Empire has a chance. Damaged, no energy? Luo Feng asked. The ship's energy has been depleted, but my storage space has energy reserves. Babata shook his head. The main thing is that the ship's internal systems are damaged, seriously damaged. Even the self-repair system can't repair them. Luo Feng, I'm currently a virtual existence, so to leave with you, I'll need the help of an item. Babata flipped his hand, a black wrist appeared. This wrist is a common wrist in the universe, it's not worth much. It's just that the inner layer of the left wrist has a core. This is my living AI's temporary residence. This core also has a storage space, large amounts of Muya crystals, arc cutter blades etc. are all within. I'll give them to you for safekeeping. Babata looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded. This Babata would be his substitute teacher in the future. Put them on. Babata said. Luo Feng immediately put on the wrist. The black-robed child Babata laughed at Luo Feng, his entire body immediately popping like a soap bubble. Who? Luo Feng, who was standing at the entrance of the ship, felt his body shake. Rumble. The huge Yun-Mo planet ship immediately disappeared, creating a huge gap, causing large amounts of rocks to fall. Luo Feng, dressed in a black robe, used his spirit energy to open up the surroundings, preventing the rocks from getting close. Luo Feng. A clear child's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Ah! Luo Feng was shocked. What's there to be surprised about? True AIs communicate with their owners through their consciousness. Babata said proudly. From now on, you can throw away that mini quantum computer of yours, that trash. I have all of its functions, it's 1,000,000 times stronger. Also, when you enter the virtual space, you won't need to wear a helmet, that's a very low-level method. In the universe, the auxiliary photon computers, consciousness sensors, housekeepers, and many other systems are all integrated into one. Babata said, if you want to talk to me, connect a bit of your spirit energy to the core crystal on the wrist guard, you can talk to me through your consciousness. Luo Feng tried. The wrist guard didn't stop Luo Feng's spirit energy at all. Obviously it had already recognized him as its owner, when his spirit energy entered the core. Luo Feng seemed to see within the core, sitting on a throne in a palace, the black-robed child Babata. Babata even smiled at Luo Feng, revealing 2 cute fangs. "You're saying I can enter the virtual space palace of war gods?" Luo Feng asked. "Of course. I can let you enter your palace of war gods. You can also enter the personal virtual space I, Babata, built for you." Babata said proudly, "Your Earth's palace of war gods was only built by an AI. In terms of the mysteries of the virtual space, it can't even compare to mine. It's a pity, you're an Earthling, your consciousness belongs to the virtual universe network. Even if I connect your consciousness to the virtual universe network, I won't be able to gain permission to enter. You'll need to open an account in reality. Only then can you connect to the virtual universe network." Babata was a bit helpless. "Also, keep the cloud contact vine next to you in your bag. It's a life form, hence it can't be kept in the storage space. Once you've kept the things, we can leave. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 225. Luo Feng's spiritual force spread out and instantly found a calabash-like plant around 100 meters to his left. It was only around 2 meters long. His spirit energy opened up a path ahead, and Luo Feng walked straight through. "Luo Feng, this cloud contact vine will accompany you for life." Babata sighed. "Of course, I, the demon Babata, will accompany you for life. Unless you die, then I will leave. According to Master's orders. I will only recognize you as Master on the day you become a Region Lord." Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. "Oh!" Luo Feng immediately understood. The 3 accounts left behind in the Universe Galaxy Bank were respectively Star Level, Universe Level and Domain Lord Level respectively. In other words, it was the final huge sum of wealth and countless treasures that he would only be able to obtain after he became a Region Lord. As for the artificial intelligence Babata, it was only after he became an Area Lord that it officially recognized him as its master. Obviously, only when he became a Region Lord would his teacher consider him qualified. After carefully placing the gourd-like cloud contact vine larva into his bag, Luo Feng rushed into the sky. Bang! 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 From more than 10,000 meters underground, Meng Chao crushed countless rocks in one go, broke the surface of the lake, and flew into the air. The sky outside was blue, and white clouds floated at the horizon like silk. Occasionally, a group of large bird-type monsters would fly past them. Luo Feng stood in mid-air and surveyed his surroundings, feeling extremely good. Luo Feng looked down at his tactical communications watch. "Missed call?" Luo Feng called back. "Hello, Luo Feng, what happened just now? I called you 2 or 3 times and you couldn't get through." Lu He's voice carried from the tactical communications watch. Luo Feng was stunned. Immediately Babata's voice resounded in his mind. "Luo Feng, when you were in the Unmo planet ship earlier, you blocked all outside signals. How strange." Lu He was very puzzled. Luo Feng's mind was swiftly thinking of how to reply. One had to know that the entire Earth was covered in signals. It was almost impossible for a call to fail. "Oh, it's like this. My tactical watch was almost out of battery just now, so I turned it off first. Now I have left the underground and am preparing to go back. The autojet can be charged, so it's back on." Luo Feng swiftly came up with an excuse. "Turned off? When the phone is turned off, isn't there usually a voice notification saying the number you dialed is turned off?" "But that's right, sometimes there are problems with the voice prompts." Lu He didn't dwell on this issue. "Luo Feng, you said you're going back? The rest of us are still searching underground. I feel like I can't find it, so I don't want to." Luo Feng smiled. "Okay. I will continue to explore with the others. We might be able to find it." Lu He ended the call after saying that. "Find the Muya crystals? They won't be able to find the Muya crystals. Babata laughed weirdly. Luo Feng immediately flew towards the distant autojet, at the same time controlling the autojet to fly over. You said there are no more Muya crystals? Luo Feng was shocked. The autojet stopped in the air like lightning. The hatch opened and Luo Feng directly flew in. Number 1, go home, ordered Luo Feng. Of course not. In the sea of consciousness, Babata's voice rang out. I purposely threw those Muya crystals from the airship's door. I rely on the energy in the spaceship to form a virtual energy body. That virtual energy body is unable to leave the spaceship. Back then I threw the Muya crystals to attract the geniuses of Earth to test their brain expanse. Test? Luo Feng was shocked. When we were searching for the Muya crystals, you already tested them? Luo Feng remembered that in archaeological ruin number 9, the ruins took quite a bit of time to complete the test. You think my efficiency is as low as the surveillance base's AI? Babata said proudly. However, you Earthlings are really lacking in talent. So many star travelers, a large group of war gods. The one with the best talent is U-22, the next is a war god 16, the third is a star traveler level 2, his brain expanse is 15. 16? Luo Feng asked, who is it? The fourth chairman Eastbourne, brain expanse 15. Luo Feng wasn't surprised. But there was actually someone taller than Eastbourne. It's a kid from India on Earth. Babata said. India? Luo Feng didn't ask any further. If he was from China, he could still train him a bit. But if he was from India, forget it, let's just see how lucky he is. However, he's already a war god, he's doing quite well. The autojet flew above the continent of Australia, swiftly flying towards Asia's Jiangnan headquarters city. In the cabin. Luo Feng, the cloud contact vine is extremely loyal, it will only recognize one master in its life. This is also the reason why when my master was killed, the cloud contact vine also died. Once the cloud contact vine recognizes its master, no one else can use it. So, the owner recognition process is very important. However, before that, I'll first modify your autojet's AI system. Babata said. Autojet system? Luo Feng was a bit shocked. Many of the buttons in the autojet lit up, the lights on the buttons were dazzling. In just 15 seconds, everything returned to normal. It's fine now, Babata said. Why do I need to modify the system? Luo Feng asked. This autojet system's first authority is actually controlled by your dojo of limits head Hong, the second authority is yours. So, as long as he wants to, he can know anything you do in the autojet. And he can recall the autojet at any time. Babata said, after I modify it, Hong won't be able to sense anything, and the autojet will listen to you. Hong has the second authority. Luo Feng was shocked, but then he understood. If he was the one selling the autojet, he would have kept a few tricks up his sleeve. This Clowscraper vine is much better than the one Hong got before. Babata exclaimed. Back then, after your grand nirvana period, humans began to produce strong warriors. To attract them over, I threw a cloud contact vine seed, and it began to grow. Furthermore, I have absorbed 3 Muya crystals, and 2 of the crystals that I crushed into powder were absorbed by some plants, forming what you call essence of nature. It's a pity. Hong and his underlings took away the cloud contact vine and spirits of nature. I could only use the Muya crystals to raise a so-called emperor monster to lure you all here. After that, I used the crystals to attract countless human warriors to gather, giving me the chance to pick the one with the highest mental capacity. Babata explained. Back then I placed a small pile of Muya crystals at the entrance of the ship, throwing them out one by one. I purposely placed 3 of them beside you, and the other 8 I purposely placed them not far from you. But after throwing a few, everything was settled. As I couldn't leave the ship, I could only use the ship's spirit energy to invade your mind, quietly influencing you, leading you to the shard and letting you pick it up. After that, I guided you to the entrance of the ship. Babata said in one breath. Luo Feng was shocked. Damn. From start to finish, everything on Misty Island was directed by Babata. Spirits of Nature, Cloud Contact Vine, Grand Emperor, Muya Crystals. Back then Luo Feng was suspicious. Why didn't the Grand Emperor collect the other Muya crystals? So the crystals were thrown on the spot. And the shard he picked up was also unknowingly guided, discovering the ship too. Spirit energy? Why would it guide me? Luo Feng asked anxiously. This thing was too terrifying. It's not as strong as you think. Babata said, it's very weak, it's just subconsciously influencing you. You were already searching aimlessly underground, with me subconsciously guiding you, you naturally headed in that direction. And if I were to guide you, say, to kill yourself, of course you would wake up, would you agree? Luo Feng nodded. Indeed, when he was on the phone with Su Xin, he was still conscious. Let's not talk about this. Hurry and let the Cloud Contact Vine recognize you as its master. Babata said, just cut your wrists, this vine needs to drink a lot of fresh blood. Cut his wrists? To a Star Traveler warrior, it wouldn't be too dangerous, even though Luo Feng was shocked. He still cut his wrists. Chi. His wrists got closer to the Cloud Contact Vine, the fresh blood was constantly absorbed by it. With Luo Feng's cells, the wound on his wrists quickly recovered. Luo Feng could only helplessly cut himself again. Xiao. A blood-red grape-like fruit appeared out of nowhere, landing on the Cloud Contact Vine's body. It was immediately wrapped up by the vines. Sigh. 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 Streaks of blood-red electricity began to flow on the Cloud Contact Vine's body. What's wrong? Babata? Luo Feng asked. That fruit was definitely Babata's doing. Other than himself, only Babata had a storage space in his core. First time cultivating the Cloud Contact Vine. Babata explained, the Cloud Contact Vine's larva, I didn't dare to cultivate it, because after cultivating it, it becomes stronger. If you're weaker than it, you won't be able to tame it. Hence, all these years, I've been cultivating it, and now that it's starting to recognize its owner, it's the best time to cultivate it. Just like how you babies on Earth, mother's milk is very important. The Cloud Contact Vine's first cultivation, the items it swallows are very important too. Firstly, it has to be a treasure, and secondly, it has to be something the vine can swallow. Babata explained, that fruit earlier was specially prepared by your teacher for your vine. In terms of price, it's even more expensive than your shard. Luo Feng was shocked. Babata immediately threw out a fruit that was even more expensive than a hybrid copper essence shard. It meant that Babata had his own personal stash. Didn't you say the teacher only gave me those? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. Those are the ones I gave you. The ones in my storage space are for the Cloud Contact Vine. Don't think about the treasures in my storage space. I'll strictly follow the master's plan and cultivate you. Within the wrist space, Babata's face was filled with pride. Amidst the conversation, the Cloud Contact Vine's color changed from green to dark red, and on its surface there were red threads flowing. You can keep it now, you can directly absorb it into your skin. This first cultivation. The fruit I gave you is too strong, it'll take a long time to digest. Babata said. Luo Feng curiously extended his hand to touch the Cloud Contact Vine beside him. In an instant, their minds connected. The vine's consciousness transmitted to Luo Feng how to use it. The control was indeed simple. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Immediately the Cloud Contact Vine swiftly shrunk, becoming like a half-a-meter-long horse whip, swiftly merging into Luo Feng's skin and vanishing. It felt as though his body had an extra layer of cold clothing. It was very comfortable, and the Cloud Contact Vine's pure consciousness was very attached to Luo Feng, just like a parent Luo Feng felt. The Cloud Contact Vine was like a baby. This Cloud Contact Vine's larva, its first cultivation, is already so shocking. From the start, it's already far ahead of the other vines. Once it finishes its first evolution, it'll be able to become your helper. When that time comes, even the black god set won't be as useful as it. Babata was very proud. I dare say, in the entire Black Dragon Mountain Empire, there aren't many as extravagant as this, playing this way on the first cultivation. Luo Feng was already used to Babata's arrogance. Babata, if I use the shard, what level of fighter can I deal with? Luo Feng asked the question he wanted to ask. You? Your current use of spirit energy is still very rough. Your usage of this hybrid copper essence shard is too simple. I estimate you can deal with a normal Star Traveler level 6 fighter. No matter what, this thing is still a treasure that even an undying fighter would find hard to destroy. Within his wrist space, the black-robed little Babata shook his head. However, when you get home, I'll let you receive your teacher's inheritance, give you some simple training, and you'll be able to deal with a normal Star Traveler level 8. That Thunder God, if he really goes all out, he probably won't be your match. Luo Feng was shocked within. Thunder God? What's there to be shocked about? Don't you know who I, Babata, am? You're the only disciple of Yunmo planet, and you use the hybrid copper essence against someone who walks the wrong path. Isn't it normal to jump 7 or 8 levels? Babata was extremely confident and arrogant. Your teacher is an undying fighter, and one of the undying fighters. Luo Feng muttered within. In the end, he was killed by an even more terrifying being amongst the undying fighters. Right, Babata, just why was my teacher killed by the enemy? Luo Feng was very curious, an existence that roamed the universe, an eternal being, just why did they kill each other? You want to know? Babata asked. Luo Feng nodded. If you want to know, you'll have to become an undying first. Within the wrist space, Babata's pale little face revealed his signature evil smile. Undying. Luo Feng was speechless. Too far away. Becoming a sector lord took over 100,000 years. How long would it take to become an undying? China only had 5,000 years of culture. The dark blue triangular autojet, late at night, flew above Jiangnan headquarter city's Yangzhou City. Within the Mingyue district, Luo Feng's house's lights were still on. His little brother, mother and the others stood at the entrance. Luo Feng had already called earlier, saying he would be home soon. Dad, Mom. Look, it's a fighter jet. Luo Hua said to his father, who was in a wheelchair, and his mother, who was waiting beside. Little Feng is back. The family looked over in surprise. A dark blue fighter jet slowly descended from the sky, stopping on the grass patch that wasn't even 100 m away from the house. The cabin door opened and Luo Feng, dressed in a black battle uniform, walked out, shouting passionately, Dad, Mom. P.S. Third chapter 50,000-year corpse has ended. Fourth chapter begin. The fourth chapter will also be the most important chapter of Swallowing Space. A turning point, the beautiful curtains begin to rise. Chapter 226. Luo Feng's return home made his parents very happy. However, Luo Honghua and Gong Xianlan didn't know what Luo Feng had experienced in these short 3 to 4 days. On the morning of the second day, the morning mist pervaded the air. Luo Feng bade farewell to his family and prepared to leave for Hongning headquarter city. You've just returned and you're leaving again. Morning breakfast was laid out on the dining table. Gong Xianlan got up and pushed his wheelchair, sending Luo Feng off. It'll be quick, I'll be back for lunch. Luo Feng smiled. Back for lunch? Mom will personally go out to buy groceries and make you your favorite meal. Gong Xianlan smiled. Luo Feng nodded. Even though he had eaten some delicacies in the virtual war god palace, they were much better than what his mother made. However, the moment he smelled his mother's cooking, Luo Feng felt a deep sense of love. Dad, Mom, I'll be leaving first. I'll give you a surprise in the afternoon. Luo Feng laughed and ran towards the autojet. Surprise! Luo Honghua, who was in the wheelchair, and Gong Xianlan, who was beside him, looked at each other in confusion. The dark blue triangular autojet swiftly took off from Mingyue District and headed directly towards Asia's Hong Ning headquarter city. I've always wanted to let my parents use the spirits of nature. This time, I can finally exchange for some. Luo Feng was filled with joy. Luo Feng. A clear voice resounded in his mind. Babata. Luo Feng used a thread of spirit energy to connect to the space in his wrist guard. Luo Feng, this exchange is a good opportunity. Babata said. The spirits of nature are fine, even though they have some energy essences, the amount is very little. To normal people and students, it's still useful. But to Star Traveler level fighters, it's very little. After we choose the spirits of nature, we'll see if there are any other treasures to exchange for. Your head might have some good stuff hidden away. Oh, alright. Anyway, I have 5 Muya crystals publicly. I can exchange for items worth 90 stars. Luo Feng communicated mentally. I'll choose one of the spirits of nature, whatever else I want to exchange for. Babata, you decide. Haha, relax, leave it to me. Babata said. Hong Ning city headquarters, entrance of a huge spaceship. A silver-haired Caucasian lady in a luxurious black leather coat and hat walked out from the entrance of the spaceship building. Immediately, 3 subordinates who had been waiting there went up to greet her. Chancellor. Chairman, are we going back now? Out of these 3 subordinates, 2 of them were war gods, and the last one was a butler. There's no rush. We'll stay in Hong Ning Bay City for 3 days. If you can't negotiate with Hong, you can still look for other inspectors or personal guards. The silver-haired old lady's voice was slightly high-pitched, and her face was expressionless. However, when she looked around, the people around her didn't dare to look her in the eye. She was a woman. It was the underground king of the entire world, the chairman of the HR Alliance. Pay attention to Hong Ning Bay City. Notify me if you find the 3 guards or the 6 inspectors, the silver-haired old lady ordered. Yes. The butler beside him immediately responded. Let's go, the silver-haired old lady ordered. Soon, a luxurious Maybach sedan with a long history slowly drove over. Under the protection of her subordinates, the old lady entered the car. The wheels slowly rolled and the car left the Dojo of Limits headquarters just like that. About an hour later, a dark blue triangular fighter jet descended from the sky, landing on a nearby tarmac. A youth wearing black casual clothes and carrying a backpack jumped out of the cabin. The cabin door automatically closed. Investigator! Investigator! A few of the guards in the headquarters saw Luo Feng and immediately bowed respectfully. Luo Feng carried his backpack and immediately walked towards the entrance. This was the ship's headquarters. Only a few of the upper echelons of the Dojo of Limits had the right to enter. Those without the right to barge in would be killed by the defense system. And obviously, Luo Feng was one of the upper echelons with the right to enter. Greetings, investigator. Greetings, investigator. Under the respectful greetings of a few blue-robed personnel, Luo Feng immediately went to find the head. At the same time, Chairman, the Dojo of Limits investigator Luo has just entered the headquarters. The news swiftly spread to the HR Alliance's chairman. Walking within the gigantic ship. It's an interstellar transport ship. Babata's surprised voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. I wonder how damaged it is. I really want to check it out. It's a pity that many of the transport ship systems and energy sources are all shut down. There's no way to check it out. So what if we check it out? This is the head's ship. Luo Feng communicated. You fool, the UNMO planet ship can't be repaired. Of course we have to think of a way. Just how do we leave Earth? How do you leave without a ship? Babata said. This ship can still fly? Luo Feng asked. No, this interstellar transport ship has been damaged for too long. I think many places have rusted, etc. With the flow of time, even a powerful sector lord would rot. A perfect interstellar transport ship, Left underground for tens of thousands of years would have problems, much less a damaged one. Luo Feng nodded to himself. Then why are you so shocked? It's damaged, but that means there are many universe ship wreckages on Earth. If we get more wreckages, who knows, we might be able to assemble a small universe ship. Babata said excitedly. Assemble a ship? Luo Feng was shocked. That's a piece of cake. Don't you know who I am? I'm a living AI. My database has a large amount of knowledge. Many high-level civilizations' knowledge is in my possession. With enough machinery, materials, robots, etc., I can even build a large interstellar battleship. Not to mention assembling a ship. Babata said confidently. Luo Feng was indeed filled with curiosity towards the vast universe, especially the virtual universe network. According to what Babata said, entering the virtual universe network would allow one to meet with the countless races in the universe. Even though he wasn't prepared to explore the universe, having a ship that could travel in the universe was still a good thing. Babata, I can buy large amounts of machinery and materials for you to build. Luo Feng said. Oh, within the space of the wrist guard, Babata's little face revealed a helpless expression. Long distance flying in the universe, the requirements for a ship are very high. Not just the internal energy system, etc., but also the body's strength. The materials on Earth, in terms of strength, are far from enough to support the flight. Hence, it's best to choose those universe ship wreckages to assemble. This matter isn't urgent. Once you reach the star level, you can occasionally visit other planets in the universe. It's not too late. Babata said. Regarding the assembly of the ship, Luo Feng left it all to Babata to think of a solution. He himself just had to focus on his training. Within the ship, within the meditation room. Head. Luo Feng bowed. Luo Feng, sit. A black-clothed Hong sat cross-legged on a praying mat. Luo Feng too sat cross-legged. What are you here for this time? Hong looked at Luo Feng. I want to exchange for some things. Luo Feng said directly. I want to exchange for Muya crystals. Haha, good. Hong couldn't help but smile. He was very clear on the effects of the crystals. Whether it was for his own training, or for the cloud contact vine's growth, Hong needed Muya crystals. Hence, he welcomed others to exchange for them. This is the exchange list. It's even more detailed than the last time. Hong waved his hand. Who? In the dark meditation room, a huge screen appeared. On it were large amounts of information and prices. It's indeed much more than the last time. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. Whatever you want to exchange for, feel free to exchange. Hong looked at Luo Feng. You should be able to exchange for 90 stars worth of items. If you have more crystals, feel free to exchange for them. Saying that last sentence, Hong's face had a smile. He had long guessed that amongst the treasure hunters on Misty Island, there would definitely be people secretly hiding 1 or 2 Muya crystals. Luo Feng stared at the screen. Spirits of Nature, number 2 has 3, number 5 has 2, and number 9 has 2 too. Luo Feng reported. Hong nodded as he listened. He wasn't afraid of you buying. He was afraid you wouldn't buy. Babata, can you see the screen? Luo Feng asked. I can see. I knew you Earthlings couldn't bring out any treasures. You're indeed poor. Treating these things like treasures. Babata was mentally prepared that Hong's items would be bad, but looking at them now, they were indeed bad. Oh, there's a little treasure. Babata shouted. Luo Feng, the gravity room at the bottom of the ancient tools list. Luo Feng swiftly looked down. Ancient gravity room. 1,000 times Earth's gravity, price 90 stars. Luo Feng was shocked. Wasn't this the elite training camp's gravity room? It wasn't there the last time, yet the head was willing to bring it out this time. It seemed like he really wanted the Muya crystals. However, why was the price so high? 90 stars, that was for 5 Muya crystals. In the entire world, there were very, very few people who could bring out such a price. The head purposely set this price, obviously wanting him to buy it for 4. 5 Muya crystals. Head, this ancient gravity room, I want it, Luo Feng said. Hong was shocked as he looked at Luo Feng. Looks like you really did have some extra gains. This ancient gravity room is indeed very useful for a fighter's training. I've always been reluctant to sell it. Now that you want it, I'll sell it to you. The spirits of nature, do you still want them? The ancient gravity room alone cost 90 stars. At least Luo Feng's assets were only this much. 2 more portions of dragon blood, 2,000-year black crow roots too, to round it up, Luo Feng said. Spirits of nature, 2,000-year black crow roots, a total of 3 stars, a total of 20 stars. Adding the ancient gravity room's 90 stars, a total of 110 stars. Hong was shocked as he looked at Luo Feng. 110 stars, that was 5 Muya crystals. Luo Feng's black casual clothes had 5 Muya crystals on it, the remaining 0. 5 was on Hong's tab. TSK, Luo Feng, your gains this time aren't small. Hong revealed a smile. I did gain something once, no one else saw. Luo Feng laughed, saying, however, my pocket was empty in an instant. The spirits of nature, you'll receive them when you leave. As for the ancient gravity room, you'll have to wait a few days. I'll send someone to deliver it to your house. Hong was very happy. How many crystals did the big powers of Earth have? And those who knew of the crystals' effects would all think of ways to buy them from other powers. Why would they sell them? And Luo Feng selling them made Hong's mood extremely good. When Luo Feng walked out of the ship's entrance, he too was carrying a silver briefcase. Within it were the spirits of nature. Investigator Luo. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked ahead, dressed in a luxurious black leather jacket, a silver-haired old lady, speaking fluent Chinese, escorted by 3 underlings, smiling as she walked over. Hello, Investigator Luo, sorry to disturb you, you can call me Isadona. I wonder if I have the honor to have coffee with Investigator Luo? Isadona? Luo Feng immediately thought of a name. The Queen of the Underground World, the HR Alliance's chairman. Isadona. P.S. Here's the first chapter. Yesterday Tomato took a day off. The Traveler brothers actually tipped the leader $1 million. I'm ashamed, HM. Today there will be 3 chapters. Chapter 227. Today's second chapter. As a Star Traveler warrior, Luo Feng was very familiar with the important figures of Earth. Isadora, this queen of the underground world, her story could easily be written into a novel. Hong Ning headquarter city, within a quiet coffee shop, in a private room. Luo Feng and Isadora sat opposite each other. Lady Isadora. Luo Feng tore open the sugar packet, pouring it into his coffee cup, stirring it slowly. What business do you have with me? Investigator Luo is so direct, I'll get straight to the point. Old Granny Isadora smiled. Crow's feet appeared at the corners of her eyes. During the fight for the Muya crystals on Misty Island, Investigator Luo's strength was actually on par with the 3rd and 4th chairman. It really made everyone see you in a different light. Luo Feng smiled. The fight on Misty Island had indeed put him on par with the other 3 chairmen. Investigator Luo's gains this time are not small either. Isadora looked at Luo Feng. Our HR Alliance really wants the Muya crystals, of course. The conditions can be decided by Investigator Luo. We'll definitely be fair. Luo Feng smiled. Muya crystals? Of course he understood that the powers all over the world would fight to get their hands on the Muya crystals. The Muya crystals had many uses, one of which was the ability to allow a student level 8 or 9 fighter to evolve to the Star Traveler level within a month, meaning, 1 Muya crystal could immediately create a representative warrior. How many representatives were there on Earth? To the 5 great countries, a representative was equivalent to a moving nuclear weapon. Stupid, you're preparing to use the Muya crystals to create a Star Traveler level 1 fighter. Within the space of the wrist guard, Babata, dressed in a luxurious royal robe, sat at the dining table eating in big mouthfuls, cursing, actually using a treasure like the Muya crystal to create a Star Traveler Level 1 fighter. What a waste! It was indeed a waste. Muya crystals weren't much to the UNMO Planet Master, but the UNMO Planet Master had collected a lot of them. In the universe, Muya crystals were considered treasures. And in the universe, Star Traveler Level 1 fighters were common goods, too many to count. They were already considered the weakest fighters. Who would waste a Muya crystal to create a fighter? For example, Hong and Thunder God, they wouldn't be willing to give them to the war gods. Without the Muya crystals, it would be extremely difficult for them to break through to the star level, but with the Muya crystals, their chances would be much higher. But obviously, on Earth, a Star Traveler Level 1 warrior was already standing at the peak of Earth. Muya crystals? I'm really sorry, I just exchanged some things with the head. Luo Feng's face was full of apology. Oh, so it's like that. Chairman Isidona looked at Luo Feng. Investigator Luo, are there any left? Even one Muya crystal was enough to create a representative. Luo Feng smiled mysteriously. Chairman Isidona immediately had a realization. She understood that Luo Feng had a stockpile. In that case, Lady Isidona, I will visit you directly next time. Luo Feng smiled. However, I like ancient things, like spaceships and other weird things. Isidona was surprised. To the various countries, some items from the ancient civilization were indeed classified. After all, they might be able to discover something by studying the technology of the ancient civilization. All right, I will prepare the list and wait for Investigator Luo to come. Isidona smiled. Some ancient remains could be exchanged for Muya crystals. Isidona didn't hesitate. Luo Feng was very clear. The ancient ruins on Earth had long been discovered. Whatever could be moved would have been long ago. And if Hong and the others couldn't move it, he probably couldn't either. Since that was the case, he could only think of ways to contact the various countries, the HR Alliance and dojos, to see if he could get the materials needed to assemble the spaceships, etc. He had to compare the prices. After all, the Muya crystals were treasures that everyone wanted. That afternoon, Luo Feng sat in the autojet back to his home in Yangzhou City. After lunch, Luo Feng's home's second floor, only Luo Feng, Luo Hua and his parents were there, a family of 4. Dad, Mom, Luo Hua, after you swallow it, you'll feel your entire body go numb and cool. Luo Feng took out the 3 pieces of the light green fruit and placed them in front of his family. These 3 pieces were actually the same spirit of nature. The medicinal properties of the spirit of nature were extremely gentle and didn't harm the body at all. However, to give one spirit of nature to 3 normal people to eat, not many people would do such a thing. It was really a waste. One spirit of nature can allow an advanced level warlord fighter to immediately jump to an intermediate level war god, or even an advanced level war god. With large amounts of medicinal properties hidden within the body, as one trains and absorbs it, one's strength will increase very quickly. Hence, one spirit of nature is equivalent to an advanced level war god. And to normal people, at most it can create a warlord fighter. It's pretty sweet. Luo Hongwa gently bit, it melted in his mouth. It's tastier than carrots. Gong Xian Lan commented. It's delicious. Luo Hua also swallowed. Luo Feng watched as his family all ate before saying, "Oh, this thing tastes better than carrots, but the price is much higher. It's more expensive than the 1,000-year black crow root from before." What? More expensive than the 1,000-year black crow root? Luo Hongwa, Gong Xian Lan and Luo Hua were all shocked. Last time when Luo Feng was trapped in archaeological ruin number 9, his family was in trouble. Luo Hua was the one who used the 1,000-year black crow root to directly become the 8th largest shareholder of ICBC. That 1,000-year black crow root, in terms of price, is already unbelievably expensive. He just ate a few dozen billion in one bite? Luo Hongwa and the other 2 exchanged glances. Dad, Mom, don't use money to measure things. Some treasures on Earth can't be bought with money. Luo Feng shook his head. You guys just ate one of these spirits of nature. I brought 8 more spirits of nature and 2 portions of dragon blood. Luo Hua, I'll leave these to you. 8 spirits of nature? 2 portions of dragon blood? Luo Hua was clearly shocked. Luo Feng smiled as he saw this. People with different statuses look at things differently. In terms of strength, when he receives his teacher's inheritance, Luo Feng will be on the same level as Hong and Thunder God. People like Hong and Thunder God are all high up above, with even more power than the 5 great countries. This kind of status is indeed useless in terms of Earth's currency. And in terms of status, the only inheritor of the Master of Yun-Mo planet, this status is even higher than the Emperor of the Silver Blue Empire, who controls the 8 great galaxies. Sadly, the Master of Yun-Mo planet is dead, and his power is gone. Of course, Luo Feng still has to be grateful, because if Yun-Mo planet wasn't destroyed, he wouldn't have the chance to become the disciple of the Master of Yun-Mo planet. Luo Feng laughed as he watched his parents and brother try to wave his ghost blade. Babata, test my parents' and brother's fitness level. Luo Feng said, What level? Your dad is a student level 3 stage, your mom is a student level 2 stage, and your brother is a student level 3 stage. Normal people's absorption rate is really low. Even though that spirit of nature was split into 3 portions, each portion's effect isn't any weaker than a portion of dragon blood. A portion of dragon blood, your so-called fighter can become a beginner-level warlord after drinking it. Babata said. Luo Feng was satisfied. His parents' health was good, and that was enough. He never expected them to go to the wilderness to hunt monsters. Dad, Mom, I have something to tell you. Luo Feng said. What is it? Luo Hongguo and Gong Xianlan were still immersed in the joy of being reborn. I've received some news. Our family still has relatives alive. Luo Feng said. Alive? Luo Hongguo and his wife immediately became excited. Feng, quickly tell us, how many? Right now, we've already discovered 2 families. Luo Feng said directly. One is Mom's cousin, Gong Xianhua. My uncle's little flower? Mother Gong Xianlan was a little surprised, but obviously not too surprised. Because back when the Grand Nirvana period began, Mother was very young and didn't remember much. Only when she was escaping did she find out from Luo Feng's grandfather that she had such a relative. So, Mother didn't have any detailed memories of Gong Xianhua. What about the second family? Luo Hongguo asked. The second family is your aunt Luo Hongqin, who is also my great-aunt. My great-aunt's child, Tang Qing, is also alive. Right now, Tang Qing is married and has children, a boy and a girl. The twins are the same age as me. Luo Feng said. Aunt is still alive? Aunt is still alive? Luo Hongguo stared wide-eyed. Luo Feng's heart ached as he saw this. Back when he lived in a cheap rental house, he often heard his father mention this aunt. Because before the Grand Nirvana, his father could already remember, and had a deep impression of his aunt. Hence, when he talked about his family other than Luo Feng's grandparents, it was his great-aunt. Auntie used to bring me good food every time she came to visit me. She even bought me a handheld game console. I still remember her face clearly. Luo Hongguo's tears were flowing. I didn't expect her to still be alive. Right back then her family was traveling in Kyoto. When the disaster happened, they were trapped there, and it was later expanded into Kyoto headquarters city. Luo Feng nodded. Kyoto should be considered China, the place with the highest survival rate during the Grand Nirvana period. Feng, do you know where your great-aunt is? I want to go see her now. Luo Hongguo said. Now? Luo Feng couldn't help but look at his mother. She nodded back. So many years of anticipation. How could they wait any longer? Then let's prepare and leave immediately. Luo Feng nodded. Around 4 p.m. that day, the dark blue autojet stopped in one of the 8 great cities of Kyoto headquarters city, Tianjin City. the district of the Limit Hall. Luo Feng didn't get anyone to pick him up. The family of 4 sat in a car and headed towards his father's aunt's house. Chief, Tianjin City's report. A bald middle-aged man received a document from his underling, waving his hand to let him go. He opened the document and looked at the report. Luo Feng came to Kyoto headquarters city? The bald middle-aged man was shocked, immediately picking up the phone beside him and dialing a secret line. Please connect to number 1 chief. P.S. Chapter 2 has arrived, continue writing Chapter 3. Chapter 228. China's gains from the Misty Island battle were not bad. However, the Muya crystals were definitely treasures. No one would complain about having more. When the news of Luo Feng's arrival in Kyoto spread, China's upper echelons immediately took action. And Luo Feng himself sat in a normal car with his family to visit his great-aunt. Within a small residential district. Ding dong, ding dong. Luo Feng and his family stood in front of a villa. His father Luo Hongguo was pressing the doorbell. Don't ring the doorbell, there's no one at home, their old lady is in the hospital, their son and daughter-in-law are there to take care of her. An old man walking his dog shouted. Oh! Luo Feng's spirit energy spread out, scanning the villa. Indeed, there was no one. May I ask, old man, which hospital is it? Luo Feng asked. It's definitely our Tianjin City's number 1 hospital. The old man said, Old Tang's family is quite rich, it'd be weird if they didn't go there. Luo Feng and his family sat in the car, 1 in the front and 3 in the back. Aunt's family's life isn't bad, they all live in villas, much better than ours. Luo Hongguo smiled. I can rest easy now. Aunt's grandson and granddaughter were very smart when they were young, their grades were very good, they entered Kyoto University at 15. They are now in a country's key research institute, the villa was allocated to them by the institute. Luo Feng said, these were all from the information Lu Yen had sent. Luo Hongguo and Gong Xianlan laughed. So smart as our family's children. Luo Feng and Luo Hua couldn't help but look at each other. Waha, this is called talent. Within the wristguard space, Babata, who was comfortably soaking in the bathtub, laughed loudly. Luo Feng, from the looks of it, your brain expanse is high, it should be related to your Luo family bloodline. The 4 children born after the Great Nirvana with the Luo family bloodline are all not bad. You don't have to say, your little brother is also very smart, relying purely on self-study, he's already so good at the stock market. Your aunt's grandson and granddaughter all have a bit of your Aunt Luo Hongqin's bloodline, hence they are also smart. People with a high brain expanse are naturally smart. Babata said, of course they aren't as smart as you. Tianjin City, one of the 8 citadels of the capital base city. Outside a special ward of the First People's Hospital, an old lady with white hair was lying on the sickbed. Her face was completely pale. A middle-aged couple was sleeping on the sofa next to them. A young man and a young woman were talking to the old lady beside the bed. You are? One of the young women turned to look at the door in confusion. At the door was Luo Feng's family. Luo Hongguo walked over and looked at the old lady on the bed. His breathing was a little rapid. The old lady also looked at the middle-aged man in confusion. Gradually, her expression changed. She was also a little excited. You are. This caused the middle-aged couple on the sofa to get up. Mom, what's wrong? The couple ran over. Who are you? The middle-aged man looked at Luo Hongguo warily. You're Tang Qing, right? Luo Hongguo looked at the middle-aged man. In the blink of an eye, you've grown old. You are. Tang Qing looked at the person in front of him in confusion. Luo Hongguo was so emotional that he couldn't hold back his tears. He looked at the old lady, who also struggled to sit up. She looked at Luo Hongguo carefully. You are Hongguo? Yes, it's me, Hongguo. Aunt, you actually recognized me. Luo Hongguo became excited. It really is Hongguo. You look exactly the same as your father. That mouth. The old lady excitedly extended her skinny hand and grabbed Luo Hongguo. Hongguo, you're still alive. Your aunt didn't expect to see you before she died. You're my cousin? The middle-aged man looked at Luo Hongguo in shock. Yet, Luo Hongguo nodded. My God, this has been over 40 years. Cousin! Cousin! The middle-aged man, Tang Qing, was also extremely excited. The Grand Nirvana battle destroyed so many families. So many people were scattered all over the world. At that time, transportation was cut off. Communication was cut off. Many of the country's household registers were lost. I recognized you immediately. The old lady was extremely happy. You look exactly the same as my brother. Hongguo, where are your parents? Luo Hongguo shook his head. The old lady saw this and couldn't help but to sigh. Little Feng, little Hua, come here. Luo Hongguo waved his hand and looked at the old lady. Aunt, these are my 2 children. Hongguo, you were just a little kid back then. In the blink of an eye you have 2 sons. And they're all grown up. Come, let me see. The old lady tried her best to open her eyes wide. Luo Feng and Luo Hua walked to the bedside. The old lady looked carefully. Chem, not bad. They're both quite handsome. They look like our Luo family. Yong Qing, Yong Yuan, little Feng, little Hua, come over. You 4 kids should have a good chat. The old lady called. Pung. The door was suddenly kicked open. A group of people in the ward were shocked. A group of people in the ward turned their heads to look at the door with dissatisfaction. 3 people walked in. One was a young man with a cold gaze. Behind him were 2 sturdy men. Seeing these 3 people, Great Aunt's family's faces changed. What are you doing here? Great Aunt's granddaughter Tang Yongqing stepped forward. Her face was filled with anger. I'm just telling you. You still have 3 days to choose. The cold-eyed youth looked coldly at Tang Yongqing. Yongqing, you should know my temper. You get out. Don't stay here. Tang Yongqing said. Tang Yongyuan stepped forward and pointed angrily at the youth. Wang Xing'an, don't go overboard. My sister and I are level 1 researchers. You? Bullshit. The cold youth stared coldly at Tang Yongyuan. I don't even care about your research. Don't even mention a bullshit researcher like you. Punk, don't think I won't make a move on you just because of your sister. I'll give your sister 3 days. If she doesn't agree after 3 days, not only your sister, but you punk who scolded me 3 times, I'll deal with you too. 3 days. The cold youth raised 3 fingers at Tang Yongqing. He smiled evilly. 3 more days. My beautiful Yongqing. I really don't wish for a beautiful flower to wither like this. Tang Yongyuan was so angry her entire body was trembling. Yongqing, what's going on? The middle-aged couple beside asked. Dad, it's fine. Yongqing consoled. Old man, listen carefully. The cold youth looked at Tang Qing. He smiled. Within 3 days, if your daughter agrees to be my woman, your whole family will live well. If not, I'll send your whole family to hell. Your fate is now in Yongqing's hands. Haha. Luo Feng stood beside and watched calmly. Luo Hua looked at Luo Feng. Big brother? Don't rush. Let's see what he's playing at. Luo Feng said calmly. Luo Hua nodded. Tang Qing and his wife were still confused. The old lady sitting on the bed beside shouted, Yongqing, just who is this person? What's going on? Wang Xing'an, you already have so many women. Why are you bothering my sister? Tang Yongyuan raged. I don't have any other hobbies. My hobby is to collect all sorts of women. Wang Xing'an smiled evilly. Look at your sister, hee. Even though her looks are worth 85 points, her scholarly aura is worth at least 20 points. Beyond full marks. She's really mesmerizing. I'm the only one in my collection that's missing. Yongqing, if you resist, you know the outcome. There's a saying, if you can't resist, just close your eyes and enjoy. Wang Xing'an smiled widely. I really don't want to personally destroy you. Do you know how much pain I felt when I destroyed the women who resisted me? Saying that, he clutched his chest. You pervert! Tang Yongyuan shouted. People like you will never understand my thoughts. Wang Xing'an's gaze was filled with arrogance. He looked pitifully at Yongyuan. This angry expression, hee in my eyes, you're nothing but an ant. After which he turned to look at Yongqing. His expression became bleak. Yongqing, back then we were so good. You loved me and I loved you. Wasn't that great? You forced me to use forceful methods. I hate using fists the most. Yongqing bit her lips. Pa. Applause resounded. Everyone in the room turned to look curiously. Wang Xing'an and his two underlings looked over curiously. Luo Feng, dressed in a black casual shirt, was gently clapping his hands and smiling at Wang Xing'an. I really don't like it when people act cool in front of me. Wang Xing'an raised his chin. His gaze was cold like a venomous snake. He's clapping his hands. Second brother, go break his hands. Yes. A sturdy man laughed savagely. Stop. Yongqing shouted. Looking at Wang Xing'an, she was about to cry. I'll promise you. Don't do this anymore. Don't do this. Haha, isn't this good? Wang Xing'an's eyebrows immediately creased. He laughed. Second brother, come back. I'm magnanimous. I'll spare you. I didn't expect to encounter such a thing in Kyoto headquarters city. A voice resounded. The group of people in the bed all turned to look. The one who spoke was Luo Feng. Wang Xing'an's expression immediately became ugly. His gaze became cold. You're looking for death. Don't interfere. Yongqing looked anxiously at Luo Feng. He's called Wang Xing'an. He's from Kyoto's Wang family. He controls quite a bit of the family's finances. He's the family's first successor. His mother is from Kyoto's main military district. I should call you cousin. Luo Feng laughed. Yongqing was stunned. Luo Feng walked straight towards Wang Xing'an. He walked calmly. Who are you? Wang Xing'an stared hard at Luo Feng. Who am I? Luo Feng smiled. Xiao. The paper beside the bed suddenly broke into 6 pieces. The 6 pieces of paper spun and danced in the air, leaving 6 afterimages. At a speed that no one could react to, they sliced through Wang Xing'an's shoulders, legs, spine, and lower abdomen. Just a little bit of blood flew out. The blood gathered in mid-air, and formed a small blood ball that landed before Luo Feng. You. Wang Xing'an wanted to struggle. However, his entire body was paralyzed. He could only move his head. The entire room went silent. The 2 bodyguards were dumbfounded. They were very clear that the opponent was a spirit reader. The other people in the room, Tang Yongqing and the others, stared at Luo Feng. They then looked at Luo Feng's family. Just what did this relative's family do? Where did such a powerful person come from? You dare to attack me? Wang Xing'an gritted his teeth in anger. That angry expression of yours. Luo Feng looked down at Wang Xing'an. Using your words, in my eyes, you're just an ant. You're courting death. Courting death. Wang Xing'an's gaze was terrifying. Courting death? Luo Feng looked at Wang Xing'an. Tell me, who are you looking for to avenge you? Your mother has connections with the main military district? Oh, China's army's #1, an existence surpassing the war god level, Jia. And your Wang family is one of the 9 great families of the HR Alliance. The person with the highest position in the HR Alliance is the HR Alliance's chairman, Isidona. Luo Feng took out the phone from his pocket. He opened the phone book and pointed the screen at Wang Xing'an. The 2 calls in the middle, one is from Jia and the other is from the HR Alliance's chairman, Isidona. If you want to find them to avenge me, you're welcome to make a call. Don't look at the other calls. The one above is from the head of the Dojo of Limits, Hong. P.S. 3 chapters completed. It's the middle of the month. Summon the monthly votes and recommendation vote. Chapter 229. Wang Xing'an, who was paralyzed on the floor, looked at the phone screen. Jiayi? China's military number 1. Isidona? The underground empress who controlled over half of the world's economy. Hong? And the undisputed number 1 person in the world. These 3 names, any one of them was enough to shake the entire world. And now, the contact numbers of these 3 people were on this young man's phone. To call these 3 people directly, the difficulty was much harder than talking to the president of a country. This, within the room, Tang Yongqing and Tang Yongyuan, their families, and Wang Xing'an's underlings all stared at Luo Feng. Just where did this youth in a black casual shirt come from? You're messing with me. Wang Xing'an's eyes were wide open, his expression ferocious, lying on the floor staring angrily at Luo Feng. You think a random phone list can scare me? You said you know the HR Alliance chairman, the head of the dojo of limits. And I even said I'm Hong's son, who doesn't know how to brag. Looking at the entire world, there are very, very few people who can directly contact these 3 people. And people as young as you, there probably aren't more than 3 in the entire world. Wang Xing'an laughed coldly as he stared at Luo Feng. If I were to meet someone like that, I'd go buy a lottery ticket. Luo Feng laughed involuntarily as he heard this. Humph. I see you're a spirit reader too, you have some background. Wang Xing'an lay paralyzed on the floor, staring at Luo Feng. Do you want to play a civil game with me, or a martial one? Civil, martial? Luo Feng looked at Wang Xing'an with interest. Tell me. Martial, it's when you lose your mind and kill me. The hospital is a public place, the headquarters city's surveillance system is everywhere. Everything that happens here, the surveillance system will record it clearly. When the time comes, the Wang family will go through the legal channels. Even if you're an advanced level war god, you'll still be sentenced to death. If you kill me, the law will sentence you to death. This is martial. The civil one is simple. Let me go. I won't leave, I'll just stay outside the room. In a while, the headquarters city's police will arrive. Let's see if you're unlucky or if I'm unlucky. Wang Xing'an stared at Luo Feng, his gaze filled with madness. Luo Feng gazed at Wang Xing'an on the ground. In the ward, the Tang family had long been scared out of their wit. The legendary Wang family was not something they could deal with, and this relative he just met was actually a spirit reader. He didn't seem to be an ordinary person. But no matter what, the Tang family was the weakest among them. Wang Xing'an, Luo Feng looked at him calmly. Wang Xing'an stared at him. Looks like you're not afraid of death. You have some ability. Luo Feng slightly nodded. However, there are many people in this world who aren't afraid of death. For example, a large number of warriors fighting in the wilderness, living on the edge of life and death for a long time. I'm very curious, why do you force so many girls to become your women? There was a rare hint of pride in Wang Xing'an's eyes. Hobby. My only hobby. Every outstanding girl is a masterpiece of God, the best collection. If the soft way doesn't work, then the hard way? Luo Feng continued. If the hard way doesn't work, then just destroy it. What right do you have to destroy those girls who don't submit to you? They're just ants. To be part of my collection, it's their honor. Wang Xing'an said confidently. Luo Feng looked down at the youth on the ground. I'm not related to you. I have no enmity with you. You just wantonly control other people's fates? Luo Feng looked at Wang Xing'an. You said you wanted to play the civil game with me, the martial game. I'll tell you. If you play the martial game, you die. I'm fine. If you play the civil game, you'll still die. I'm fine. Luo Feng looked calmly at Wang Xing'an. I have no enmity with you, even a researcher like my cousin who has contributed to the country, she hasn't done anything evil. She resisted and didn't submit, yet you sent her entire family to hell? Just based on this point. Wang Xing'an, I can tell you this. I can wait for the police to come. I can wait for your military's help to come. I can wait for your Wang family's big figures to come. I can even let you prepare well before letting you go to court. Use whatever methods you have, whatever background you have. I can announce right now, the court's final verdict will be death, immediately executed. Luo Feng's voice was very calm, almost as though he was announcing something very normal. Luo Feng looked at the two bodyguards beside him. Bring your Wang young master out, and wipe the floor clean. The two tall and sturdy men glanced at each other. One of them dragged the already paralyzed Wang Xing'an out, while the other wiped the blood stains on the floor of the ward. Outside the ward, the hospital's security guards and directors were all here. However, when they saw the surveillance footage, they realized that one of them was actually a spirit reader. Immediately scared out of their wits, they didn't dare enter. Wang young master. Wang young master, are you all right? Director Tian and a vice director, upon seeing Wang Xing and being dragged out, ran over. I won't die yet. Wang Xing'an's expression was cold. Anyone with a bit of status in Kyoto headquarters city, who didn't know of the few powerful young masters in Kyoto headquarters city, Wang Xing'an was one of them. This Director Tian, as the director of a large hospital, naturally knew many big shots from different industries, including Wang Xing'an. Young master, what do we do? The two bodyguards looked at Wang Xing'an, Kyoto headquarters city, and the 8 surrounding cities' special forces. Who doesn't know me? Tianjin City's special forces Captain Li Dong even drank with me before. He'll rush over immediately and send the news directly to our Wang family. Wang Xing'an's gaze was filled with madness. He's really crazy. Even crazier than me. A red disc-shaped battleship was already flying above Tianjin City. Within the cockpit, Jia Yi, who was dressed in a black Chinese tunic suit, sat there with his back as straight as a pencil. Mr. Jia, we'll reach Tianjin City soon. Luo Feng is currently at Tianjin City's #1 hospital. Within the cockpit, a bespectacled middle-aged man smiled and said, "HM." Luo Feng acquired quite a few Muya crystals this time. If we can get one from him, it'll be considered a success. Jia Yi nodded. Remember, when I speak later, don't interrupt. This Luo Feng's growth is too shocking. He was actually on par with the 3rd chairman during the battle on Misty Island. And he's only 21 years old. Too young. Jia Yi said solemnly, who knows, in the future, he'll be like Hong and Thunder God, an unshakable existence. Hong and Thunder God. That was already a person's strength that could easily surpass a country's. The 5 great countries were extremely courteous towards Hong and Thunder God. This was a result of a person's strength being too strong. And with Luo Feng's growth speed in a short few years, he was already on par with the 3rd chairman. In the future, it wouldn't be strange for him to be on par with Hong and Thunder God. No choice. Luo Feng was too young, his potential was too shocking. Mr. Jia, we've reached the hospital. HM, there's a police car below. What's going on? Let's go down. Jia Yi said coldly. Kyoto headquarters city, main city district, Wang family. His security chief is an idiot? The luxuriously dressed bald old man roared like a lion. Don't tell me he hasn't even seen Luo Feng's picture before? When the news from Tianjin City's special forces arrived, he actually didn't even stop them. Dad. The middle-aged man beside said, Luo Feng is after all a representative, you know this too. Representative-level fighters' pictures and information are kept secret, very few leaks. The security chief oldly has seen Luo Feng's picture before, but he's never seen him in person. Just seeing the video from Tianjin City, to be able to tell that the young man in the video is Luo Feng, that's not easy. Get lost. You're still talking nonsense. Hurry up and call Xing'an. Are you afraid you haven't caused enough trouble? Luo Feng. That's on par with the 3rd chairman. Can our Wang family afford to offend him? The Wang family leader no longer had his usual calmness. Instead, he was incomparably furious. No choice. Against a powerful fighter that's on par with the 3rd chairman, even a country has to be courteous. What's a family like him? Even though the entire HR Alliance worships a few representatives, they're still worshipped. Even the HR Alliance wouldn't easily offend a normal representative, much less someone at Luo Feng's level. Tianjin City's first hospital. Inside the special ward. The Tang family and Luo Feng's family were all inside. Outside, there was already a large number of fully armed Special Forces police gathered. There's quite a commotion. Luo Hua looked outside. Brother, quite a few police are here. Don't rush. Luo Feng took out his phone. Hello, you're already at the hospital? Haha, right, I'm at the hospital. See all the police in the hospital? I'm right in the middle of the police encirclement. Haha, no problem, I just met some scum and dealt with him. Shem, alright, come over here. Outside the ward. Squad number 1 in position. Squad number 2 in position. Squad number 3 in position. Listening to the voice from the walkie-talkie, the Special Forces Captain Li Dong said, "The target is a spirit reader. Everyone must follow the plan. Don't be careless, we must capture the enemy in one move. Also, do not harm the other innocent people in the ward." Roger. 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 Li Dong nodded. As the most powerful special forces in Tianjin City, they had their own plans to deal with powerful fighters. Wang Xing'an, who was being supported on a chair by the side, watched this scene with a gleam in his eyes. HM? Li Dong suddenly took out his phone from his pocket. Looking at the number, he was shocked. Yes, Chief. Li Dong immediately stood straight, his expression serious. Yes. Understood. Understood. Li Dong hung up, then immediately picked up the walkie-talkie. Retreat, everyone retreat. The Special Forces police who had already occupied important positions in the surroundings could only retreat in confusion, then under Li Dong's orders, they quickly lined up to greet the chief. Li Dong, what's going on? Wang Xing'an, who was paralyzed on a chair, yelled. Shut up. Li Dong glared. Chief Jia is here. Jia? Wang Xing'an was shocked. The Special Forces police split into 2 rows, standing straight on both sides of the corridor. Then from the end of the corridor, a skinny middle-aged man wearing a Chinese tunic suit walked over with 2 subordinates. The epaulets of the 2 subordinates made the police stand even straighter. It's a general of the army. 2 generals of the army as his followers? Just which leader is this? Grandaunt, rest well here. Dad, Mom, you 2 stay here with Grandaunt, I have something to do. Following the voice from the ward, a young man wearing black casual clothes walked out. The corridor was silent. The Special Forces police, the head of the hospital, Wang Xing'an, who was paralyzed on the chair, didn't dare make a sound. The Special Forces police formed into 2 rows, one on each side of the corridor. In the middle of the corridor, Jia Yi walked towards Luo Feng. After Luo Feng walked out of the ward, he walked over. Representative Jia. Luo Feng smiled and walked over. Representative Luo. Jia Yi walked over too. The 2 smiled and shook hands. The surrounding people didn't make a sound, only Wang Xing'an's face became extremely pale. P.S. Chapter 1 is here, updated late. Chapter 230. Let's find a quieter place and continue our chat. Luo Feng said, following which he and Jia Yi headed towards the elevator at the end of the corridor. Behind the 2 of them were 2 generals. In the entire corridor, besides Luo Feng and Jia Yi, no one else dared to make a sound. They just watched as Luo Feng entered the elevator and left. Who? My God, did you see the epaulets? 2 army generals. After they left for a while, the people in the corridor finally burst into a commotion. That's a being surpassing the war god level, Jia Yi. Back when we were fleeing during the Grand Nirvana period, I saw him battle with the monsters. The silver-haired vice principal beside shouted. It's Jia Yi, the other representative Luo, is definitely Luo Feng. Special Forces Captain Li Dong was sweating profusely. I was actually preparing to capture investigator Luo Feng. I was really looking for death. Even though he had never seen Luo Feng in person, as the head of Tianjin City's police force, he still knew of Luo Feng's name. Wang Xing'an, this time I almost died because of you. Li Dong turned to look at Wang Xing'an, who had been moved to the side and was lying on a chair. Wang Xing'an's face was pale. It's over. It's over. Wang Xing'an's mind still clearly remembered the words he said in the hospital room. Whatever methods, whatever background you have, I can announce right now, the court's final verdict will be death sentence, immediately executed. Suddenly, a phone rang. Your phone is ringing. Li Dong shouted. The bodyguard beside Wang Xing'an immediately picked up the phone and answered, placing it beside Wang Xing'an's ear. Listening to his father's angry roar and orders. Dad. Wang Xing'an suddenly hugged onto his last straw, saying, the person in the hospital room just now was Luo Feng. At this time, he didn't dare hide anything, explaining everything from start to finish. He could only hope that his family could help him, and his father could only hang up and go find the head. 5 minutes later, in the corridor, 3 soldiers in black uniforms walked up to Wang Xing'an. One of them showed him a piece of paper. There was a special stamp on it. Wang Xing'an, you are suspected of murder. We are now officially arresting you. After saying that, the other 2 picked up Wang Xing'an, and the 3 soldiers left without looking at Li Dong. It's over. No one can save him. Li Dong knew Wang Xing'an was done for when he saw the stamp. There were many arrogant and lawless people in this world. But if one often walks by the river, one's shoes will surely get wet. Heaven's net has long arms, but nothing escapes. One day, he will meet an iron plate that he cannot afford to offend. Just like Wang Xing'an, compared to Luo Feng and Jia Yi's level, he was indeed a small fry that couldn't even cause much of a stir in their emotions. A single word from him could kill him. Kill him personally? It was too embarrassing. It was in a quiet living room in the hospital. Luo Feng and Jia Yi each poured a cup of hot tea. This is what happened to you on your trip to the capital base city. Jia Yi shook his head and laughed. However, in this world, where there is light, there will also be darkness. Without darkness, there will not be any light. So, darkness was unavoidable in any era. This Wang Xing'an will be executed immediately after the court-martial trial. Luo Feng nodded. He understood this point too. Dark people and matters were unavoidable. Jia Yi, why have you come to find me? Luo Feng looked at Jia Yi. Mu-ya crystals. Jia Yi smiled. I'll be straightforward. There's no choice. These crystals are too important. 1 Mu-ya crystal was enough to create a representative expert. And how many are truly loyal to the country? With 1 more, our country's influence and position in the world will be higher. I understand. Luo Feng nodded. Of course, we can't just take your crystals for free. Everything will be fair. Jia Yi added, if you have any conditions, just name them. Normal items don't interest me. Luo Feng said directly, however. I'm still interested in the various items within the archaeological ruins. Some treasures, strange things, even the remains of the ruins are fine too. I hope Jia Yi can arrange for someone to prepare a list for me. When the time comes, I'll be able to choose the items from the archaeological ruins. No problem. Jia Yi smiled and nodded. Back when the ruins were discovered one by one, the countries had indeed gained quite a bit. However, compared to the Mu-ya crystals, their importance paled in comparison. However, sorting out the list, pictures, videos, etc. would require 2 to 3 days. Jia Yi said. Then we'll discuss when the time comes. Luo Feng smiled. Alright, when the time comes, I'll head straight to Yangzhou to discuss with you. Jia Yi smiled and nodded. Currently on Earth, in terms of training methods, Babata had long since prepared. The only things that could truly attract Luo Feng were the items from the archaeological ruins. Whether it was Luo Feng or Babata, they both hoped that from the remains of the archaeological ruins, they would be able to assemble a small ship. That day, the news of Wang Xing'an's death sentence reached Luo Feng. After receiving the news, Luo Feng's new cousin, Tang Yongqing, cried tears of joy. She had finally escaped from that nightmare. Tang Yongqing originally thought that Wang Xing'an could cover the sky with one hand and she would be trapped in that nightmare forever. The Tang family was extremely happy. His father, Luo Honghua, as it had been over 40 years, this was the first time he saw his aunt. Hence, he was prepared to stay for a few more days and spend more time with his aunt. Luo Feng and his family were temporarily staying in a quiet villa arranged by the army. Night. On this day, it was snowing heavily. The villa's heater was on. Second floor, training room. Luo Feng sat cross-legged. Luo Feng, I will direct your consciousness into the private virtual space I've built for you. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. At the same time, I will be on alert within a 1,000 m radius. You can relax in the virtual space. Virtual space. On a mountain peak that was as tall as the clouds, a white-robed Luo Feng suddenly appeared. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. The mountain peak was bottomless. Looking up into the sky, there was actually a huge planet. It almost took up a third of the sky. Are you shocked? The little demon Babata, who had 2 horns on his head and blood-red pupils, was wearing a black robe. He floated to the side. The universe is extremely mysterious. If 2 planets are close to each other, or if one of them is especially big, such a situation will occur. Luo Feng nodded. Today, you will officially receive the Great Master's inheritance. Babata raised his head, his little face filled with confidence. First, you have to understand, for a skyscraper to be tall, its foundation has to be incomparably sturdy. This is also why you need 50 years to reach the star level. If you really don't care about anything else and crazily train like a stuffed duck, in 3 years, I can let you reach the star level. However, the price is that you will never be able to step into the universe level. Babata said. Luo Feng listened carefully. To become a domain lord, or even a sector lord, you have to take every step seriously. Babata waved his little hand. Hua! A blood-red castle immediately appeared behind him. Follow me. Babata flew into the castle. Luo Feng followed. Rumble! The castle opened. Master! 18 m tall rock-sculpted giants stood at the entrance of the castle and bowed respectfully. Babata shook his head. These 18 steel towers were the original master's 18 followers. They have always been loyal. However, when Yunmo planet was destroyed, they lost their lives. I'm only creating a virtual image of them. In this castle, I've created the 18 steel towers and the 36 beauties. Following Babata, along the way, he saw many beautiful women of different races. Very quickly, he arrived at the huge room on the 2nd level of the castle. This is your training room. Look. Babata pointed at the 4 walls of the training room. Shwa. Immediately, the 4 walls were blocked by bookshelves. And here, I've prepared all the books you need to learn at the Star Traveler, Star Level, Universe Level, Domain Lord and Sector Lord levels. Saying that, all the bookshelves immediately had books appear. The entire training room, the 4 walls had definitely had over 10,000 books. You're now a Star Traveler. Therefore, the secret manuals on these 2 shelves are what you must cultivate. Babata pointed at the 2 upper levels of one of the bookshelves. The upper level is about fighter training. A strong spirit reader must have a strong body. Your force exertion, body strength etc. must all be trained. Right now your body is at the student level 9 peak, your consciousness is enough, your body strength breaking through to the Star Traveler level 1 stage is very easy. The lower level is about spirit readers, it's even more important. It's mainly split into the control, illusion and miscellaneous sections. Each section is extremely profound. Babata said, Master's inheritance is unique even in the universe. Master's attainment in fighter training is very high. His attainment in spirit reading is even higher. Master has 9 great undying slaves. These 9 undying were actually 9 slaves that Master used a spirit technique to permeate his soul a long time ago, controlling them from within. These 9 slaves still have their intelligence and memories, only that they are 100% loyal to Master from the bottom of their hearts. When these 9 undying were controlled, one of them was a universe level, 6 were domain lords and 2 were sector lords. As Master's strength gradually increases, these 9 slaves are also slowly training. Master's technique is special, in that the slaves have their own consciousness and can also train. Babata said proudly, and the slaves don't dare betray. The moment the Master dies, the slaves will die too. The 5 undying slaves in the UNMO planet ship died because of their Master's death. Babata looked at Luofeng. Of course, Master's inheritance, it's very hard to get started. Hence, before Master died, he created an inherited soul imprint for you. When I first came into contact with you, I've already infused the imprint into your body. Babata said, it's noiselessly entering your soul. I estimate in another 3 hours, you'll be able to get started. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Today's 9:30 update is late, hence tomorrow's 3rd update. Tomorrow's 3rd update. Everyone use your votes to encourage the next tomato. Chapter 231. Luofeng looked shocked at Babata. Inherited soul imprint? He didn't feel anything at all. Why are you so shocked? Babata waved his hand and a chair appeared beside him. Babata immediately laid on it, leisurely rocking back and forth, almost like a baby bed. Master is an undying. If the inherited soul imprint he created was able to merge into your soul without you noticing, would that still be considered undying? With Master's accomplishments in the soul imprint, even if he ambushed a sector lord, he wouldn't be able to sense it, much less a star traveler punk like you. Luofeng was helpless. Against the teacher who had paved the way for him before he died, he indeed had no way to resist at all. Luofeng. Babata crossed his legs on the recliner and waved his hand. A big apple that was commonly seen on Earth appeared in his hand, and he began to eat it. From now on, when you enter this virtual space, you will mainly train in this cultivation room. And today, I will determine your future path. You should know, no matter what you do, you have to first plan your path and move forward step by step. Only then will you be able to walk far. Blindly training without a goal or plan, that's just a waste of time. Babata said, I can only give you suggestions, I can't make decisions for you. Luofeng nodded. I understand. What suggestions do you have? 1. You have to pay attention to your fighter training, you can't let it go. 2. The control and illusion techniques that Master left behind are the basics, you have to learn them all. And the mixed chapters is the essence of the UNMO planet. You are the inheritor of the UNMO planet. These precious techniques, you have to learn them all. Whether you want to walk the path of a manipulator or an illusionist, it's up to you. 3. Take out some time to learn the universe common language from me. Luofeng couldn't help but laugh when he heard this. Babata had given him 3 suggestions, but the first and third of them were things that he had to do. The second one was only for him to choose between the path of a manipulator and the path of an illusionist. This universe common language? Luofeng opened his mouth. Don't we have translation software? Earth had translation software, how could there not be in the universe? Was there a need to spend so much effort learning a language? To be honest, Luofeng doesn't like learning languages. Back when he was in school, English was a foreign language. Even though he studied it for 12 years, he could understand most of it and speak it with a stutter. But compared to other students, foreign languages are Luofeng's weak point. Fortunately, the college entrance examination did not specifically test foreign languages. However, Luofeng's exam was still a tragedy. I must learn it, Babata said. In the vast universe, although you can use translation software, but if you don't understand the universe language, you will be looked down upon. People would say that you came from some barbaric, backward place. As long as one had a bit of status, who wouldn't be fluent in the universe language? You are Yun Mo's successor, how can you not know how to speak the universe language? Babata's blood-red eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. Alright, I'll learn. Luo Feng nodded. Yes. Babata nodded in satisfaction. Babata, this is a martial artist's cultivation. I'm a spirit reader master, so I just need to cultivate a strong body. As for the other aspects, he would at most train his movement technique a little. There's no need for anything else, said Luo Feng. Short-sighted. Babata was so angry that he smashed the apple in his hand onto the ground. Let me tell you, Babata emphasized, the universe is split into two big sects, one is a fighter, the other is a spirit reader. It's hard to say which of the two is stronger, but the spirit reader's methods are more complicated and strange. If a fighter wants to break through and improve, he has to pay attention to his spirit and willpower. If a spirit reader wants to improve, he has to pay attention to his body and genetic energy. I can't tell right now. However, the universe level, especially the domain lords and sector lords, all have high requirements. In terms of spirit, willpower, origin energy, body, and realm, it has high requirements. Babata said, if you want to store more water in a wooden bucket, it depends on the shortest piece of wood. Hence, a fighter's training cannot fall behind. Right now, you're too weak as a fighter, your body strength is only 3. 5. Blade technique and movement technique are both basic? Luo Feng said, my blade technique is already at the expert level, and my movement technique is at the perfect level. That's what you people on Earth say. Babata raised his head in disdain. According to the universe's classification, your blade technique and movement technique are only at the basic level, the lowest level. Your body's strength exertion is only 3. 5. It's pitifully low. On my Yun-Mo planet, the student level 9's average strength exertion reaches 10. 10? Luo Feng was shocked. This was even higher than Thunder God. And there's a huge problem with your Earth's training, Babata said. For example, your brute force is 1 million kilograms, your strength exertion is 3 times, your attack's impact force is 3 million kilograms, your speed can also greatly increase. Then why can't your defense be amplified? Luo Feng's eyebrows creased. Attack and speed can all be amplified, defense. Earth's fighters have been researching, but they haven't been able to amplify their defense. Fighter training, you can slowly study it later. If you don't understand, ask me. Babata waved his hand and a beautiful glass table appeared in front of Luo Feng. There were 6 chairs beside the table, and all the books that were suitable for Luo Feng's Star Traveler level fighter training all flew onto the table. You can slowly study these. Babata waved his hand again, and all the books on Spirit Reader Masters on that floor flew over. Your main focus is obviously on these. Especially the miscellaneous books, Babata said. The miscellaneous books have to be studied seriously, the miscellaneous books. Every book has a gold cover, it's very eye-catching. Luo Feng's gaze swept across. In that pile of books there were indeed over 10 books with gold covers, the rest were all black. Randomly picking up a book with a gold cover, Soul Imprint. At the top of the book, there were 2 small, unassuming words miscellaneous. Picking up another gold book, Tower of the Void. Beside it, there were small words miscellaneous. The 3rd book, Possession, the 4th book, 6 Lights, the 5th book. Every book is extremely profound. For example, Soul Imprint. The reason why the master was able to control the 9 undying slaves was because of this soul imprint technique. He left you the inherited soul imprint, also because of this technique. Soul imprint is extremely profound and mysterious. The book in your hand is just the basic. Once you've mastered it, I'll give you the 2nd soul imprint. Babata said proudly. This is my UNMO sex exclusive technique. It definitely won't be passed on to outsiders. Babata said proudly. Luo Feng couldn't help but to pick up the soul imprint book. This was a treasure. To be able to control slaves, and to be able to let them have their own thoughts and even train by themselves, amazing. Tower of the Void is my UNMO sex ultimate soul defense technique. Even among the previous master's direct disciples, only one received it. When master was still alive, it was rare for him to impart these secret techniques to a direct disciple, and he would not even impart all of them. You are lucky you have all the secret techniques and they are all complete, Babata said. Luo Feng was extremely happy within. Teaching a disciple to starve the master, when his own teacher was alive, he might have only passed down one technique, but knowing that he was going to die, he would definitely leave behind all of them. Treasure. This was the true treasure. Even though Control Chapter and Illusion Chapter were important, other Undying Warriors also had them. However, Mixed Chapter had all kinds of unique techniques, be it defense, attack, illusion, or life-threatening techniques, or even control and enslavement. They were all very mysterious and strange. In the universe, to obtain one of these techniques, one would need a lot of luck or countless treasures to exchange for it. And Luo Feng obtained a whole bunch in one go. From Star Traveler to Sector Lord, the entire UNMO sect had everything. After flipping through the books in the virtual space for a while, Luo Feng felt a piercing pain in his consciousness. Within the training room, Luo Feng's body became a blur, after which he disappeared from the virtual space training room. Oh, it's been 3 hours, I'm at the final step of merging. Babata laughed. Tianjin City, temporary villa, second-level training room. Snow was falling outside, however. Luo Feng's consciousness was undergoing a shocking change. Within his consciousness, in the vast sea of consciousness, there was only a single miniature planet, a miniature planet that glowed with a halo. This miniature planet was formed by the fusion of densely packed transparent pyramidal crystals. It was a perfect whole. The entire miniature planet was emitting a formless peculiar ripple. The miniature planet's core, a rhombus blood-red crystal, was at the core of the miniature planet. Formless blood-red threads, with this rhombus blood-red crystal as the core, covered the entire miniature planet. Chi-chi, countless blood-red threads continuously merged into the miniature planet. A piercing pain, that was the trembling of the soul. The entire miniature planet began to change color at a speed visible to the naked eye. From the previous almost transparent color, it gradually turned into a light pink, light red, and the entire miniature planet was dyed red. Finally, it turned into a blood-red color that was exactly the same as the blood-red crystal. The miniature planet, during its transformation, seemed to have shrunk by one size. Phew, so comfortable. Luo Feng was extremely comfortable. Luo Feng, congratulations on passing the hardest stage. Normal spirit readers are unable to unleash our UNMO sex techniques. They have to first change their spirit energy. Before on UNMO planet, they had to rely on themselves for a long time. And you, with Master's help, have passed this stage. Babata was extremely happy. Babata, my soul's core, that blood-red crystal still hasn't disappeared. What's going on? Luo Feng asked. That's the inherited soul imprint. Master thought that his future disciple would be stronger, but you're only a Star Traveler level 1. The inherited soul imprint hasn't even been completely used up and you've already completed the transformation. Babata said, right now you've already crossed the threshold. However, you're still a student level 9 fighter, then, without further ado, you'll first step into the Star Traveler level. Luo Feng was happy. He was a Star Traveler level 1 spirit reader, however. He was only at the peak of the War God level. Your consciousness and spirit are sufficient. Your body has also reached the peak of the student level 9. It's very easy. A few breaths of time and you'll be done. Babata said. P.S. Chapter 1 here, what will Luo Feng's special ability be? Chapter 232. Today is the second chapter. For someone like Luo Feng who has all the conditions, he can break through to the Star Traveler level 1 stage fighter at any time. However, Babata still taught Luo Feng 9 consecutive movements, which were similar to the Dao Yin technique. Inhale. When he performed the first movement, Luo Feng felt his entire body start to heat up. As he performed each movement, every cell in his body seemed to be boiling. The genetic energy hidden in every cell that wasn't absorbed started to gather like water droplet. The water droplets gathered into a stream, a river. A wave of heat came from his entire body and continuously gathered. Finally, it gathered at Luo Feng's abdomen. Rumble. There's a fundamental difference between a spirit reader and a fighter. A spirit reader's source is in the head's consciousness, while a fighter's source is in the abdomen's dantian. In the dantian, as if Pan Gu created the world, the dantian that originally didn't exist instantly opened up. The spinning genetic energy spun rapidly and continuously expanded and contracted. Every time it expanded and contracted, its volume became smaller and smaller. Luo Feng only felt his consciousness tremble and his body tremble. Success. In the vast dantian, a miniature planet appeared. Unlike the miniature planet in the consciousness that was transparent when it was first born, the miniature planet in the dantian was actually golden. The entire miniature golden planet was, in fact, a unified whole made up of a large number of golden, six-sided crystals. The golden miniature planet continued to rotate and at the same time, it emitted a strange wave. Genetic energy. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. A strand of golden genetic energy instantly flew out of the dantian and flowed into his body. Crack, 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 crackle, crackle. In an instant, Luo Feng's bones, marrow, skin, veins, organs, etc. all rapidly changed. The transformation this time was even more ridiculous than when his spiritual force stepped into the Star Traveler level. Luo Feng felt as if his bones were being smashed and then reformed. "Let me see what your special ability is," laughed Babata weirdly. "Don't be nervous, genetic energy is the most suitable to change the body. The extent of its transformation of the body is much more exaggerated than the transformation of telekinesis." "Oh? Hee. It's the diamond body. Haha, Luo Feng, your luck isn't bad." Babata was extremely happy. And the body transformation was still ongoing. Luo Feng's entire body was growing stronger by leaps and bounds, much more exaggerated than a normal fighter stepping into the Star Traveler level. Just like when Li Yao stepped into the Star Traveler level, even though his body also transformed, the transformation wasn't as exaggerated as Luo Feng's. Of all the parts of his body that had transformed, the most exaggerated was his bones. Luo Feng's bones, as though they were constantly being hammered and tempered, that ka-ka-ka sound even passed through Luo Feng's body. If someone came to the training hall on the second floor at this time, they would be able to faintly hear the sounds of bones being forged and transformed. "Babata, you said the diamond body, what is that?" Luo Feng asked. "At the student level, spirit readers have a huge advantage," Babata said. "However, once you step into the Star Traveler level, martial artists also had their own methods. This is a special ability. Different Star Traveler martial artists, some have a special ability of flame, some have a special ability of light. These are the most basic sayings of you Earthlings. In the universe, all sorts of special abilities can be categorized into 8 main types: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, and light. Yours is the rare diamond body of the metal element," Babata said. Luo Feng was confused as he listened. "Simply put, it's because of the difference in your body and soul, the energy your body absorbs is actually different. This is the genetic energy that is converted." "Of course it's different," Babata said. "Genetic energy is split into the 8 types of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, lightning, wind, and light. And your special abilities are given by the genetic energy. You can also split it into 8 main types, but each type can be split into many different types. For example, the flame type can also be split into flame man, flame refiner, etc. Even the same flame refiner, which is also at the Star Traveler level 1 stage, can control a higher temperature. Luo Feng finally understood. Actually, there's no difference between the 8 types. In any category there were very strong special abilities, and in any category there were also very weak special abilities, and Luo Feng himself has the diamond body of the diamond type. In the training room on the 2nd floor of the villa. Let's rinse. Right after his transformation, Luo Feng entered the bathroom and laid in the bathtub. Outside the bathroom window, snow was falling. As he laid in the bathtub, Luo Feng communicated with Babata. The diamond body means that at the same level, your bones and muscles will be stronger than other fighters. This is an extremely rare ability. Because if your bones and muscles are stronger, you can explode with even more power. And your attacks will be even stronger, Babata said. This can increase your attacks, speed, and defense. Especially your defense. Once your genetic energy fuses with your skin and muscles, your defense will be extremely shocking. So the diamond body is extremely rare. Among the normal metal elements' special abilities, the most common one is sharpness. This allows your attacks to have even more penetrative power. Babata said. Luo Feng slightly nodded. Luo Feng was very satisfied with the ability of the diamond body. This means that he can have a stronger body than others at the same level, and his defense is even more shocking. Diamond body. With a thought, Luo Feng's genetic energy immediately fused with his skin and muscles. Luo Feng could clearly see that his skin seemed to have a metallic sheen to it. Voila! Luo Feng walked out of the bathtub and stood beside the mirror. The mirror had the ability to heat up the fog. The Luo Feng in the mirror was like a god of war. His entire body had a metallic sheen to it. Just by looking at it, one could feel its immense power. It was already the 3rd day in Tianjin City. The grass in the sector was covered in snow. Luo Feng's family ate lunch with his aunt's family, and a group of people were walking on the road of the sector. Yong Qing and Yong Yuan only came back because they asked for leave from the research institute. After the leave ends, they have to rush back. The rules at the research institute are very strict. Tang Qing and Luo Honghua, this pair of cousins, walked side by side. They both experienced the grand nirvana period when they were kids. Work is more important, Luo Honghua smiled and nodded. This time, it's all thanks to you guys. Otherwise, that Wang Xing and would definitely make our family. Tang Qing couldn't help but to shake his head. It's all in the past, said Luo Honghua. To your Luo Feng, it doesn't mean much, but to our family, it's a huge favor. Yong Qing, Yong Yuan, why are you two so shy? Quickly go thank your cousin. Tang Qing shouted. Tang Yong Qing and Tang Yong Yuan, who were behind them, turned to look at Luo Feng. Cousin, thank you. Tang Yong Qing stood beside Luo Feng, slightly reserved. Indeed. Not just Tang Yong Qing, the entire Tang family, after knowing Luo Feng's identity, couldn't help but be reserved. This couldn't be helped. If one's relative was the president of a strong country, with the president standing beside you, would you be able to speak freely and without any psychological barriers? This wasn't something normal people could do. Thank you, cousin, said Tang Yong Yuan. It's nothing. When you have time in the future, come to Jiangnan headquarters city, Yangzhou City, my family's side, smiled Luo Feng. Walking on the road of the sector. Luo Feng's phone suddenly vibrated. Picking up the phone, Luo Feng walked to the side. The phone screen displayed Jia Yi's number. Hello, Luo Feng's face revealed a smile. The person delivering the ancient treasure had arrived. Luo Feng, it's me, Jia Yi. Jia Yi's voice was resounding. The list of items from the ancient ruins has already been prepared. Are you in Tianjin City now? I'll be right there, no problem, right? No problem, Luo Feng laughed. Actually, yesterday the HR Alliance's Lady Isadora came looking for me, however, I'm still preparing to trade with you first. This was the truth. The HR Alliance had already prepared the list. However, Luo Feng was still preparing to pick items from his country. That way, when he went looking for Lady Isadora, if he found the same item, he wouldn't have to buy it again. Haha, thank you so much, Jia Yi laughed brightly. I'll be there in 15 minutes. All right, Luo Feng immediately hung up. After Luo Feng and his family sent off their relatives, his father, mother and brother went to the hospital to visit his aunt, while Luo Feng stayed at home. Villa's second floor, study room. Open this laptop, first enter the password, then prepare to accept the transfer. Jia Yi stood at the side, holding a storage device in his hand. Password accepted, it's ready. Luo Feng sat in front of the laptop. Jia Yi pressed the button. Immediately a large amount of information was transferred to Luo Feng's laptop. Within a few seconds, the transfer was complete. Jia Yi, you drink some tea first, sit. I want to take a good look, Luo Feng laughed. Alright, no rush. Jia Yi sat at the side, holding a teacup. In his heart he was anticipating Luo Feng to pick a few more items from the archaeological ruins. After all, if he could exchange for one more Muya crystal, that would be a huge success. Luo Feng sat in front of the computer, carefully looking through. There were pictures of every special item unearthed from an ancient civilization ruin. Some of the items with special functions would even be demonstrated in videos. Usage and value were all described. Babata, Luo Feng pretended to look through, but in his heart he was thinking, have you received the data? Babata was a living AI. He could borrow the internet to look at information from all over the world. However, right now, due to the archaeological ruins, every country's confidential information was disconnected from the internet. They didn't connect to the internet at all, and forbade others from connecting to the internet. All sorts of protective measures prevented Babata from seeing any of the confidential information. And now, this computer had long since connected to Babata. I've received it. Babata replied. Okay, take a good look, see if there's anything useful. Luo Feng left everything to Babata. As for himself, he had to put on an act, looking through all sorts of archaeological ruins items. P.S. Chapter 2 has arrived, continue writing Chapter 3. Chapter 233. Luo Feng, I've made my choice. I'll send the list of items you need to buy to your laptop. 1 second after Luo Feng asked Babata to choose, Babata answered. That fast? Luo Feng was shocked. I'm the highest AI, I can be called a living AI. Of course my selection speed is fast. Babata's voice was filled with pride. Within the study, Luo Feng raised his head and looked at Jia Yi, who was holding a cup of tea. Felt Luo Feng's gaze, smiling. No rush. There's a lot of information here. It'll take 3 to 4 hours to finish reading. Luo Feng, take your time. Saying that, Jia Yi actually went to a bookshelf and took down a book to read. Luo Feng laughed bitterly. 3 to 4 hours? A normal person would take a long time to finish reading. But the important thing was that the living AI, Babata, made his choice. It didn't even take a second to finish. If I say I've made my choice now, Jia Yi would probably think I'm a monster. I can only wait a few hours. Luo Feng moved his mouse and opened the document Babata sent. He opened it. It was a detailed list of items he needed to buy. So much? Luo Feng was shocked. The list of items from the archaeological ruins was too huge. Probably even 10 large passenger planes wouldn't be able to store them all. Babata, you need to choose so many items? Luo Feng asked. How much? Not much, not much. Babata said. What are we going to do? We're going to build a spaceship. Under such a poor situation, we're going to build a spaceship that can travel in the universe, from one galaxy to another. Just the materials for the spaceship itself are a lot. Earth's own alloys and other things don't seem to fit, we can only use the materials from the remains. Luo Feng realized. A spaceship that can travel in the universe is indeed very heavy, the materials needed are a lot. The materials from the remains aren't worth much. One Muya crystal can be exchanged for countless materials in the universe. Babata said disdainfully. That's in the universe. We're different on Earth. 3 hours later. Jia, I've made my choice. Luo Feng turned the laptop over, the screen facing Jia. This is the list of items to buy. Oh, pretty fast. Jia smiled as he moved his chair closer to the desk and began to carefully read through the list. As he read, he became shocked. Luo Feng, what are you buying this ship wreckage for? This ancient civilization spaceship has already been broken into many pieces, and it was taken over by various countries. The wreckage in our hands has also been dismantled. Do you want it? Luo Feng nodded. 1, 2, 3. Jia looked at the list in shock. Originally, he thought that Luo Feng would buy some special equipment, but he discovered that Luo Feng didn't buy any of these equipment. What Luo Feng bought were all sorts of remains or fragments. Some of the fragments were so hard that it was impossible to cut them on Earth. In the wreckage of the spaceship, only the interior of the spaceship could be dismantled. The amount you want is huge. Just one piece of the spaceship wreckage weighs more than 800 tons. Jia looked at Luo Feng, and the value of this wreckage is unknown, especially the parts of the body. We have no way of destroying them. It's much stronger than our SS-grade materials. So this price? Jia, it's just a wreckage, don't be too greedy. Luo Feng laughed. These wreckages, there's no way to deal with them on Earth, they're basically useless. Moreover, the HR Alliance and other countries also have some remnant. Jia creased his eyebrows. Indeed. Every country had some of the ancient ship wreckage. Just like the dojo of Limits Hong, the entire headquarters was a large interstellar transport ship. Speaking of value, these ship materials were special and expensive. Saying they weren't valuable because the materials couldn't be cut or used, they were indeed useless. All the wreckage and fragments you want add up to more than 5,000 tons. Jia looked at Luo Feng. Even if it's just a wreckage, it's so heavy, with so much ancient wreckage. How about this 3 Muya crystals? Luo Feng hadn't even spoken. In his mind, Babata cursed angrily. 5,000 tons of trash. That's nothing. Even an aircraft carrier on Earth weighs tens of thousands of tons. A small universe ship weighing tens of thousands of tons is normal. 1 Muya crystal, in the universe, can easily be exchanged for 10 small ship. Exchanging for trash, even 100 million tons isn't much, and you want 3? You really think Muya crystals are cabbages? Too expensive. Luo Feng shook his head. 5,000 tons of ancient materials. Jia said. Our dojo leader's headquarters, that huge ship, how heavy do you think it is? Luo Feng looked at Jia. That's a huge ship that's over 10,000 m long. An interstellar transport ship, over 10,000 m long. If you count the weight, that would definitely be in the hundreds of millions of tons. Don't tell me that huge ship you're preparing to exchange for tens of thousands of Muya crystals? Luo Feng looked at Jia. No way. Jia said, that's your dojo of Limits headquarters. Also, it's impossible to cut open that giant spaceship. Alright, how about this 2 Muya crystals? Luo Feng said. Luo Feng, are you stupid? 2? Even 1 is too much for me. In the sea of consciousness, Babata shouted. 2? Jia stared at him for a moment before nodding. Alright, I'll give you face, 2 Muya crystals it is. When the time comes, I'll arrange for people to send over 5,000 tons of ancient materials to Yangzhou. Jia was extremely happy within. These remains couldn't be used, they were just trash. To be able to exchange for 2 Muya crystals, it was a huge profit. Before, he thought it would be good enough to exchange for 1 Muya crystal. Luo Feng, where will we put the materials? Jia Yi asked. In the wilderness outside of Yangzhou City. I'll set up a huge warehouse for a ruined factory in the wilderness, you guys just have to put it there. Luo Feng smiled. The deal was done, both sides signed the contract. Luo Feng gave 1 Muya crystal as a deposit. Luo Feng, are you stupid? 2 Muya crystals for 5,000 tons of trash? I can guarantee 1 crystal and that Jia Yi will definitely agree. Babata was dissatisfied. In the headquarters city era, the war between the country and the monsters was huge, giving 1 more counts as supporting the country. Luo Feng said. Babata was speechless. The second day, Luo Feng sat alone in his autojet, going to see Lady Isadora. From Lady Isadora, he bought a large amount of remains, over 9,000 tons. However, this time, he only spent 1 Muya crystal. This was easy to buy, but the difficulty of transporting it was huge. Luckily, the HR Alliance's branch in China had a lot of remains. Transporting them by train was still possible. The deal was done, however, the materials required 1 to 2 months. Jiangnan headquarters city, Yangzhou City, Mingyue District. Luo Feng's second-floor training room had already been split into 2. One was the training room, the other was the archaic gravity room. The archaic gravity room's length and width were 6 m, its height was 6 m too. It broke through the roof, hence, to install it, Luo Feng's villa had to be remodeled. Year 2059, January 13th. Luo Feng's house, gravity room. 1,000 times gravity? Luo Feng stepped into his own gravity room for the first time. Who remodeled this? It's too crappy. Babata scolded. This is a basic model gravity chamber in the universe. The gravity range is 0 to 1000 standard gravity of the universe, F***CK. Look, you people on Earth actually changed the energy source of the gravity chamber to electricity. Using electricity to propel the gravity room? I don't know if you guys are smart or stupid. What's wrong? Luo Feng asked. You said universe standard gravity? In the universe, the standard gravity is equivalent to 89 times your Earth's gravity, meaning the universe standard gravity is 89 g. This gravity room, when it was manufactured, had a gravity range of 0 to 8,890 g. Now it's 1,000 g. Babata continued. I can't blame you Earthlings, you guys don't have a suitable energy source. Using electricity to propel it is already not bad. Luo Feng nodded. When the Earthlings discovered the ruins, they were probably just remains. Fishing out a gravity room from within, without any energy source, they could only think of ways to modify it. Using electricity to propel it was already not bad. Leave it to me. I'll modify the gravity room to be even better, then use the C12 energy crystal. This is an energy crystal that only the higher civilizations in the universe can use occasionally. My guess is improving it to 90,000 times Earth's gravity, that's the limit. Any more modifications, the gravity room itself won't be able to handle it, Babata said. There's no other way, just like the cars on Earth. The car itself is made of that. If the speed is too fast, the car will immediately fall apart. This gravity room, if I modify the circuit structure within, increasing the energy source, it will collapse. Luo Feng rubbed his forehead. Enough. The highest gravity reached 90,000 times Earth's. That was insane. However, thinking back to the footage he saw before, 2 universe-level warriors battling on a white dwarf star, Luo Feng calmed down. That footage, the white dwarf's surface gravity, was 300 million times that of Earth's surface. 90,000 times compared to 300 million times, it wasn't even on the same level. However, to the current him, it was enough. With Babata's methods, using his AI to control some tools, in one night, he completely modified the gravity room. From today onwards, Luo Feng, you will train in the gravity room every day. A fighter's training in the gravity room. Spirit reading training, also in the gravity room. For people like you who don't have a solid foundation, the results will be very good. Even though you're a star traveler level 1, your muscles and bones can handle higher gravity, however your heart, liver and lungs are weaker. This is because your foundation isn't strong enough, the internal and external aren't unified enough. Let's start with 100 times Earth's gravity. This will allow your internal organs to quickly improve. Under Babada's guidance, Luo Feng began his days of training in the modified gravity room to solidify his foundations. Chapter 234. In the following days, China and the HR Alliance swiftly moved the shipwreckage from the archaeological ruins, along with some strange shards, over 100 kilometers away from Yangzhou City, into a huge warehouse in the wilderness, after which Babada stored all these materials into his storage space. Luo Feng had a storage ring. However, Babada too had his own storage space. The storage space could only store lifeless materials, corpses etc. However, it was obvious that Babada's storage space was extremely huge. He actually used his AI's tools to start building a ship within the huge storage space. AI, machinery, energy etc., they were all lifeless, hence he started building within the storage space. Babada, how big is your storage space? Luo Feng asked. I've stored the Unmo planet ship in there before, my storage space can't even hold it. And now it's a factory, building a ship. Just how big is it? Luo Feng had always been curious about Babada's personal treasury. It's bigger than yours. Babada was direct. Then how long will it take to build a ship? Luo Feng asked. About 5 to 6 years. Babada said. My God, 5 to 6 years? Aren't you the most powerful AI, why would it take so long? Babada was unhappy. That's to build a ship that can travel through the universe. Not a ship model. And building a ship requires many intricate tools. I don't even have the tools, I'm broke. I have to start from scratch. Even on Earth, how long does it take to build a carrier? Mine is thousands to tens of thousands of times harder than building a carrier. 5 to 6 years is considered fast. Alright, I'm not in a rush anyway. Luo Feng didn't argue any further. It's good enough that I've helped you build it. Otherwise, with Earth's technology, even if it took 100 to 1,000 years, it would at most enter the universe. And the Milky Way has a diameter of 100,000 light-years. To travel between galaxies, Earth wouldn't even be able to build one in 1,000 years. Babada was very proud. Luo Feng's little knowledge was actually considered illiterate. He indeed didn't know how many difficulties were involved in building a ship that could travel between galaxies in the universe. This was a ship, not a model. To be able to succeed in 5 to 6 years was already unbelievable. Babada, as the pinnacle of AI, easily created a basic AI to oversee the ship construction. And it was supervising Luo Feng's training. Don't be too happy. The muscles and bones of a first-stage star traveler can withstand 1,000 times the Earth's gravity. It's just that because your internal organs and meridians are relatively weak, you'll have to start with 100 times the Earth's gravity. Spending 28 days to adapt to 1,000 times the Earth's gravity is nothing to be proud of. Babada's roar resounded within Luo Feng's consciousness. In the gravity room, Luo Feng stood barefooted in the gravity room, his entire body covered in sweat, beads of perspiration occasionally dripping down. The display on the side showed 1088G. Over 1,000 times the gravity, affected every cell in Luo Feng's body. These 28 days of adaptation fully excavated the star traveler's potential. Every time he absorbed the Muya crystals, his organs would crazily absorb and improve. Alright, it's about time. Start absorbing the Muya crystals. Babada said. Luo Feng immediately sat cross-legged. A Muya crystal appeared in his hand. The crystal's fragrance was enough to make one's mouth water. Under the guidance of genetic energy, waves of energy swiftly flowed into Luo Feng's body. the Muya crystal's energy was different from genetic energy. The crystal's energy was extremely pure. In terms of quality, it was extremely high. And filled with life. It was very spiritual. The moment it entered Luo Feng's body was like a little blade of grass that was being watered. His body's evolution was extremely fast. At the same time, Luo Feng's consciousness entered the virtual space. According to Babata's words, when a person's consciousness enters the virtual space, his body still has a subconscious. After special training, Luo Feng's consciousness entered the virtual space. His subconscious could still do one simple thing: absorb the Muya crystal. Begin the fighter training. First the movement begin. In the virtual space, he began his movement training. In the virtual space, Luo Feng's body was maintained at the beginner level warlord level, the same as when he first entered the virtual space in the elite training camp. 5 months later. Evening. Wearing only his underpants, naked Luo Feng entered the gravity room, closing the door behind him. Babata, today you should focus on the control chapter. Help me test it out. How's it going? Luo Feng said. Voluntary request? Looks like you're very confident. Babata laughed weirdly. Luo Feng laughed. First, he pressed the gravity button on the side and entered 1910. Immediately, the gravity room swiftly activated. A low rumbling sound could be heard. At the same time, a terrifying gravitational force was applied to Luo Feng's entire body. Luo Feng's entire body slightly sunk. His knees slightly bent, and he stood up straight. Phew! Luo Feng took a deep breath. Begin. Luo Feng used a bit of strength to raise his right hand. In his right hand was the hybrid copper essence shard. This shard, on Earth, weighed over a ton, and in the gravity room, with 1910 times Earth's gravity, it instantly exceeded 2,000 tons. If it were a war god, he wouldn't even be able to lift it. Even Luo Feng would find it difficult. Luckily the weight was only within the gravity room. If the gravity room was 5 tons, then, no matter how strong the gravity within the room was, it wouldn't affect the outside world at all. Even if someone entered, the gravity within the room reached over 10,000 G. The gravity within the room still wouldn't change. Maintaining the gravity field consumed energy. Begin. Babata said. 1. Luo Feng controlled a wave of spirit energy to move the shard. 2. Luo Feng controlled another wave of spirit energy, using it on the shard. 3. 4. The shard floated up. 10. Luo Feng continued to add more waves of spirit energy. Before he received the Yunmo inheritance, Luo Feng could control 18 waves of spirit energy. However, these 18 waves of spirit energy had to be used to control 18 different objects. Luo Feng had no way of combining the 18 waves of spirit energy together without affecting his battle strength. The moment they were combined, they would affect each other. Also, back then when Luo Feng's spirit energy was used on the battle uniform, the effect was very poor. Because his spirit energy control was very weak, the battle uniform had very small holes, easily leaking his spirit energy. However, it was different now. 19. Luo Feng shouted the last time. You can now combine 19 waves of spirit energy together, without affecting each other? Babata was shocked. Before, weren't you only able to do 18? I've improved. Luo Feng laughed. Very good. Close to 2,000 times the Earth's gravity, you can still combine 19 waves of spirit energy together, without affecting each other. Your control chapter's condense word can be considered small. Babata praised. The control chapter's 9 basic words, there are still 8 other words: disperse, sharpness, toughness, softness, toughness, dance, illusion, meld. Since the first word, condense, is small, let's begin the second word, toughness. 5 months ago, Luo Feng could at most control 18 waves of spirit energy. After 5 months of hard work, he could at most control 19 waves. However, with just the small success of the first word, Luo Feng's battle strength had risen by many times. According to the Control Chapter's 9 words, once all 9 words are small success. The spirit energy could be thick enough to form a metal board to smash people, thin enough to form a needle to pierce through the opponent's weapon or person. In theory, the spirit energy would immediately enter the body upon contact. However, after the small success of the 9 words, it was incomparably condensed, incomparably sharp. It could completely be used as a weapon. However, without sufficient methods and techniques, it would be very difficult for one to figure it out alone. Year 2060, January 12th, morning. Luo Feng's house, second-level training room's gravity room. Under the dim yellow light, a young man covered in a layer of blood-red battle armor was sitting cross-legged. Around his body, there was a blade fragment dancing around. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. The display next to it showed a row of numbers, 3100G. Most of the Star Traveler warriors on Earth would instantly die the moment they entered. So, without a sound, the layer of blood-red armor on his body quickly melted into his skin and disappeared, revealing his lean body. He stood up. Compared to a year ago, his entire body was much skinnier, even his height seemed shorter by a few centimeters. Even just standing there, he gave off a feeling that made one's heart palpitate more than an emperor-level monster. Spirit energy training is indeed harder than a fighter training. I've only stepped into the Star Traveler level 3 today. Luo Feng, don't be so narcissistic. This training has always been easy at the beginning, but hard at the end. Look at Hong and Thunder God, the further they go, the harder it gets. Babata said. Luo Feng laughed. 4 months ago, he had already stepped into the Star Traveler level 3 as a fighter, and today, his spirit energy had only just stepped into the Star Traveler level 3. Right now, even with my fighter abilities, I can defeat the third chairman. Luo Feng was extremely confident. His foundations were incomparably sturdy. In terms of spirit energy efficiency, he was much stronger than the fourth chairman. As his foundations were very sturdy, the soaring shuttle and arc cutter blade could be easily controlled, and Luo Feng's trump cards were the hybrid copper essence shard and the already awakened cloud contact vine. The blood-red armor from before was formed from the vine. The current Luo Feng, from the inside out, he had gone through a complete transformation. The current him had the right to call himself the successor of Yun Mo planet. Suddenly, a phone rang outside the gravity room. Luo Feng walked out of the gravity room, immediately picking up the phone, looking at the caller ID. It was Su Xian. Su Xian had started her own business. The location she chose was Yangzhou City. That way, the two would often be together. Hello, Luo Feng, I'm almost there. I just bought some food. Su Xian's voice resounded. My parents have gone on a trip. I've asked the nanny to go back too. Didn't I say we were going out to eat today? Luo Feng said. I've learned a bit from the TV. Today I'll personally cook. Let you have a taste. This is my first time cooking. Right, I've already entered the small district. Luo Feng walked to the window and looked outside. Indeed, a beautiful white sports car slowly drove into the small district. With Luo Feng's vision, he could clearly see Su Xian in the driver's seat, dressed in a white sweater, smiling happily. Su Xian is cooking? Luo Feng took a deep breath, gritting his teeth and thinking, no matter how disgusting it is, I still have to eat it and even make an excited expression, praising her. P.S. Chapter 2 is up, there's still Chapter 3. Brothers, Luo Feng has already been reborn. Everyone give your monthly votes and recommendation votes. Chapter 235. Luo Feng swiftly rushed into the bathroom, opened the shower, and rinsed his body with hot water. With a thought, Luo Feng's golden genetic energy spread out from his body and evaporated all the water droplet. He then swiftly put on his clothes and ran downstairs. And at this time, Su Xian just stopped her car and walked in with a basket of food. Creak, Luo Feng opened the door. You bought quite a bit of food. Luo Feng looked at the basket with shock. Of course, just wait to eat, Su Xian smiled proudly. Su Xian smiled proudly. After putting the basket into the kitchen, she took out an apron from her bag and put it on. You sure prepared well, Luo Feng laughed in surprise. Of course. Su Xian then directly entered the kitchen and closed the door. She then began her battle with the wok and spatula. Luo Feng laughed, walked to the sofa, sat down, and turned on the TV. It was winter break right now. His brother's girlfriend was on vacation, so he went on a trip with his girlfriend. His dad and mom actually chose to go on a vacation. At this time, Luo Feng was the only one left in the house. Thankfully, Su Xian often came over, so they enjoyed their two-person world. Around 40 minutes later, the kitchen door opened and a fragrant smell came out. Luo Feng sniffed. It smells pretty good. I wonder how it tastes. Time to eat. Su Xian put on a pair of gloves and placed a large soup pot on the dining table. Luo Feng also went in. Bowls and plates of hot dishes. Done. Su Xian took off her gloves and apron and sat on the side. 3 dishes and 1 soup, Luo Feng, try it. As she said that, she stared at Luo Feng with her bright eyes, like a little kid waiting for the teacher to check his homework. I'm going to wash my hands, Luo Feng was about to get up. Try it first, Su Xian pulled Luo Feng back and stared at him a bit angrily. Luo Feng grinned. Alright, I'll try this potato chips with diced meat. It's potato chips with diced meat, Su Xian reminded Luo Feng. This is called diced meat? Luo Feng looked at the small pieces of diced meat on the plate with shock. Su Xian said a bit awkwardly. I don't have any experience, so I just chopped it a bit more, as long as it's delicious. Luo Feng resisted the urge to laugh. He picked up a piece of potato and diced meat with his chopsticks and started chewing. Luo Feng started to reflexively smile. Luo Feng was prepared. No matter how bad it tastes, it's his girlfriend's first time cooking, so he had to encourage her. But Luo Feng froze. What's wrong? Su Xian was shocked as she looked at Luo Feng. Not bad. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked at the potato, shredded meat in front of him. He picked up another chopstick and ate. Not bad. The taste was similar to that of a restaurant. Who said that a girl would suck at cooking for the first time? That's a lie. Su Xian looked at Luo Feng talking to himself and couldn't help but say, What are you talking about? Oh, nothing, just complimenting you, Luo Feng said. Of course, I've already eaten it in the kitchen. It's really delicious. Su Xian picked it up and also took a bite. I'm still very talented in cooking. Luo Feng didn't lie, Su Xian's cooking was really good. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Good. He didn't have to worry about his stomach anymore. Luo Feng and Su Xian began to eat just like that. They chatted as they ate. Su Xian spoke with fervor and assurance, talking about many things in her company. Luo Feng, the couple's safety charm you gave me, when I wear it, it makes me more awake. Su Xian took out a safety charm from her neck. The so-called safety charm was actually a special little silver plate. On it there were even special engravings. Of course this is a good thing, you can't buy it with money. Luo Feng too took out one from his neck. This safety charm was actually given to Luo Feng by Babata. He said it was a gift for Luo Feng and his wife, one for each of them. It had a certain protective effect. Something from the archaeological ruins, of course it's a good thing. Su Xian smiled. These safety charms are usually worn by married couples. Luo Feng looked at Su Xian, his face had a weird smile. Su Xian, you say, when should we get married? My parents are rushing me. Marriage, my family is rushing me too. Su Xian's delicate face had a slight blush, however, there's no rush. Oh, there's no rush. Luo Feng nodded. That's good, let's wait a few more years. You. Su Xian stared wide-eyed, looking at Luo Feng. Angry? Haha, afraid of becoming a leftover woman? Luo Feng immediately laughed. Su Xian was even more angry. Oh, don't be angry, how about we get married this month? Luo Feng said again. That's too fast. Su Xian was a bit nervous. One moment it's too fast, the next moment it's too long. Women. Luo Feng let out a long sigh. Su Xian said unhappily under her breath. I'm just a bit nervous. Seeing the usually swift and decisive Su Xian acting like a little girl, Luo Feng's heart warmed. Indeed, this year's time was warm and peaceful. His parents were happy at home, and his younger brother had opened an investment company. As for himself, he was making steady progress on the path of cultivation, constantly improving. At the same time, his relationship with Su Xian was getting deeper and deeper, and they were already talking about marriage. Ever since the Misty Island incident in this year, the entire Earth had been unprecedentedly peaceful. The 5 great countries, the HR Alliance, the 2 dojos all received at least 3 to 4 Muya crystals, at most 7 to 8. This resulted in the birth of a few new councilman powerhouses within a year. The year 2059 was the year with the highest number of councilman powerhouses on Earth. There were more than 30 of them, even though there were representatives that fell on Misty Island. However, the current number of representatives on Earth had reached a shocking 81. Humanity's increase in strength made it easier to defend against the sea monsters. When the various great countries sent out their star traveler warriors, they no longer had to worry too much. AD 2060, January 13th, evening, North America, New York. New York, before the Grand Nirvana, was the economic center of the entire Earth, hailed as the world's capital. Back then, the HR Alliance's predecessor, the various large financial groups, families all had branches in New York. However, during the Grand Nirvana, because this place was close to the Atlantic Ocean, it was the first to suffer. Hence, this place became the monster's playground. Just like how China's Shanghai was connected to the East China Sea, New York was connected to the Atlantic Ocean. Hence, the United States established a large military district not far from New York, and built a military base in New York to prevent the sea monsters from entering the mainland. The 500-m-long military base was like a malevolent monster entrenched on the river. Inside the military base, the sunset shone in from above. In a hidden castle below, 5 American soldiers were sitting cross-legged on the ground, gambling. Because there was no fighting in the military base most of the time, once there was a battle, people often died. Hence, when the soldiers gambled, the higher-ups of the military didn't care. OMG, bad card. One of the black youth cursed, throwing away the card in his hand. 10 of spades, 10 of spades, 10 of spades. The bald white youth kept shouting as he stared at the card that had been dealt to him. Then, he flipped it over slightly and said, Bullsh *T, I lost again. Haha, I won again. The blond curly-haired youth laughed. Through the small hole in the castle, he blew a kiss. Beautiful Statue of Liberty, continue to give me good luck. The direction of the hole was where the Statue of Liberty used to be, but the statue had long since collapsed into ruins. Bullshit. The Statue of Liberty collapsed long ago. I don't believe you can still win, again. The bald youth beside him shouted. Oh look, what's that? One of the soldiers pointed at the hole in the hidden castle. The other soldiers immediately looked over. God. Oh my God! King-level monster. Instantly, a piercing alarm sounded, ringing throughout the entire military base. The previously relaxed military base seemed to have been wound up. Countless soldiers immediately began to stand in front of their posts, preparing for battle. Under the glow of the sunset, in front of the huge military base, a huge monster appeared. This was a monster that was more than 180 meters long, with a body similar to a lion. Its body was covered with black scales the size of a house. The edge of each black scale was like a blade, sending chills down people's spines. It also had a pair of wings that were 200 meters wide, covered with black scales that looked like they were made of steel. A horn that could pierce through the sky. The black horn was wrapped with golden patterns. This complex golden pattern spread from the horn to the neck, to the entire back, all the way to the tail. It was as if its body was covered with a layer of gold and black armor. The most chilling part was its pair of dark gold eyes. A pair of huge dark gold eyes, like the eyes of a god, overlooking all things in the world. A sense of savagery lurked in the eyes. Cold. Tyrannical. This was it. A terrifying existence that had never appeared on Earth before. An king-level monster in the sky, seeking death. Shoot it with the laser cannons. It's dead. Many soldiers in the military base were afraid, but they were still very confident. Laser cannons, laser cannons. This was humanity's strongest weapon. Shio. 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 3 white beams of light, at a terrifying speed, directly hit the scales of this unknown monster covered in black and gold armor. The beams of light dissipated. The scales were undamaged. Woo, a deep sound like the low cry of a god, echoed in the boundless world. All the monsters in the ruined New York were terrified. This was a pressure that came from their souls. And all the soldiers in the entire base were terrified to the extreme. The Marika generals in the command center looked at the behemoth that took up most of the screen in horror. What monster is it? Even the strongest laser cannons can't hurt it at all? Suddenly, the monster opened its mouth. Howl. Rumble. The sky and land darkened in an instant. The space around the monster's mouth warped. The entire base actually flew up, flying towards its mouth. The more it flew, the more it shrank. The base that was originally bigger than the monster's entire body actually shrank to not even 5 m wide. The ant-like soldiers in the base were all terrified, screaming in fear. It swallowed it in one gulp. The monster closed its mouth. The base disappeared. Oh my God! In the distant ruined skyscrapers, the soldiers in the laser cannons were all pale, almost as if they had seen a ghost. Rumble. 2 similarly huge sea monsters broke out of the water. If Luo Feng and Hong saw them, they would recognize. These 2 were the 2 emperor-level monsters of the sea. The water began to boil. Countless sea monsters broke out of the water. They looked at the mysterious unknown monster as though it was a god. Howl. The monster raised its head and roared, its horn piercing the sky, as though announcing its arrival. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Chapter 236. After the mysterious monster let out a roar that sounded like an announcement, the 2 emperor-tier monsters behind it. One was an octopus that covered the sky and looked like a floating island. The other looked like a giant dragon that was more than 1,000 meters long in Chinese mythology, but its body was covered in lightning. The 2 beast emperors let out deafening roars as well. Rumble. The roar formed a shockwave that spread in all directions. The countless water monsters in the lake below immediately let out all kinds of strange sounds as they quickly advanced along the river. They killed their way into the inner regions of the human world. China, Jiangnan headquarter city, Yangzhou City, Luo Feng's home. It was 8 o'clock in the evening. On the living room sofa, Luo Feng and Su Xian sat together and watched TV. In front of them were some fruits and snacks. Today, one of my girls came to me to snitch on me again. Although I don't like to listen to employees snitching, I have to say, our company's manager Li is really bad at socializing. Was there a need to be so obvious in flattering him? Su Xian said to Luo Feng as she watched the TV. Fire him, said Luo Feng straightforwardly. You can't run a company like this. You can fire whoever you want. Su Xian said, after all, Manager Li's business ability is still good. I'll knock him down later. Oh, I don't understand anyway. Luo Feng said casually. Right, my parents are coming back tomorrow. Su Xian was stunned. Then what should we do? What should we do? Salad. You can just stay here. Luo Feng turned to look at Su Xian and teased. Since you're already mine, what's there to be shy about? What do you mean they're all your people? Su Xian's eyes widened. Luo Feng immediately laughed loudly. You. Su Xian bared her fangs and brandished her claws. Wait a moment, the phone, yelled Luo Feng. Don't lie to me. Su Xian didn't believe him. There really is a call. Luo Feng picked up the phone from the side and pressed the speaker button. Immediately, the phone rang. Hello, Luo Feng. A deep voice resounded. Oh, Mo Henderson. Luo Feng revealed a smile. What's the matter? Frost Emperor Mo Henderson? Su Xian on the side covered her mouth in shock, not daring to make a sound and disturb Luo Feng's conversation with someone else. Ever since the Misty Island incident, this Ice Emperor and Luo Feng had a small grudge. The two had never contacted each other. He didn't expect that the number one person in the United States, the third speaker, the Frost Emperor Mo Henderson, would call him. It's a very important matter that concerns the life and death of the entire human race on Earth. Hurry up and enter the War God Palace. All the members of Parliament, chairmen, and government officials from all over the world will be there, Mo Henderson said. What is it? Luo Feng was shocked. The life and death of humans on Earth? I don't have time to explain in detail. I still have to inform the others. Hurry up and enter the Temple of the Gods of War. Mo Henderson hung up the phone. Indeed, if the American government wanted to notify Luo Feng and other important figures, Luo Feng probably wouldn't believe them even if they sent a random worker to make the call. Mo Henderson's call was very convincing. The living room quietened down. Luo Feng frowned. Luo Feng, what happened? Su Xian was also worried. I don't know. I'll enter the virtual space to take a look. I'll tell you when I get back. Luo Feng instructed her before heading up to the second floor and entering the gravity room. The gravity room closed. Under normal circumstances, Luo Feng could only maintain 1 times Earth's gravity. Luo Feng sat cross-legged. Babata, help me enter the virtual space War God Palace. Luo Feng used his spirit energy to connect to his wrist space and said to Babata. No problem. Within the wrist space, Babata was wearing a pair of underwear and lying on a rocking chair, comfortably being massaged by a servant. He laughed loudly. Schwa. That huge room was the room Luo Feng stayed in when he first entered the War God Palace. A golden-robed Luo Feng appeared in the room. Representative Luo Feng, please head to the top floor meeting room immediately. An electronic voice resounded within the room. Top floor meeting room? Luo Feng was shocked. That was the biggest meeting room in the War God Palace. Normally, the War God Palace meetings would be held there. For the meeting to go there, obviously something big had happened. Luo Feng swiftly left the room and headed there. On the spiral staircase, Luo Feng met 2 representatives and a few white-robed war gods. Luo Feng and the other 2 representatives had a simple conversation, but obviously, these 2 representatives weren't too sure of what had happened. They only knew that it was an urgent notice from America, and immediately entered the virtual space. War God Palace's top floor meeting room. There were already over 50 golden-robed representatives in the meeting room. There were also many white-robed war gods, and amongst the white-robed representatives, some weren't war gods, but were specially authorized to enter from the 5 great countries. These leaders may be the president or vice president. However, not all of them were war gods. Usually, they didn't have the authority to enter. However, today they had special authorization. Luo Feng. Jia Yi. Luo Feng walked over and shook hands with Jia Yi. Do you know what's going on? Seems like something big has happened in America. I'm not too sure about the details. Jia Yi shook his head, however. According to what the American president told us, it's extremely serious. Something catastrophic. However, he didn't have time to explain in detail before he immediately notified the other countries. Catastrophic? Luo Feng's heart sank. Let's go, you don't know many of our China's other leaders. Let's go and get to know them. Jia Yi pulled Luo Feng along to meet with the other leaders. The meeting room was filled with more and more people. The atmosphere in the meeting room grew heavy. Within 5 minutes, all the representatives had arrived. The leaders of the 5 great countries, the HR Alliance's chairman and others were all present. It could be said, within a short period of time, all of Earth's ruling elites were all gathered here. The first chairman and the others are here. The American president is here too. Luo Feng turned to look. Hong, Thunder God, M.O. Henderson and a group of people had all arrived together. Amongst them was the American president. The meeting room went silent. The president walked straight up to the podium. Leaders of the various countries, chairmen, representatives. The black-skinned president's expression was ugly. He said solemnly, "Right now, all of the highest representatives of Earth have gathered here. It was supposed to be a grand gathering. However, I have to tell everyone our Earth's calamity, apocalypse, has arrived." The faces of everyone in the conference room changed. The president of a country couldn't possibly lie in front of them. "I can't explain it clearly. I'd like everyone to watch a video," the black-skinned president said solemnly. Schwa. At the front of the meeting room, a huge screen appeared. On it, a video was playing. The video started. The sun was setting in the west. A military base sat peacefully on a river. "It's the area of New York during the Grand Nirvana period," Jia Yi said softly. "Just what is going on?" Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and stared. On the screen, the military base was silent. Suddenly, a shadow fiercely broke through the water in the distance. Its speed was so fast that one couldn't even see it clearly. One could barely make out a black shadow floating in front of the military base. This was a mysterious beast that no one present had ever seen before. Powerful claws, a pair of huge wings covered in scales, a powerful tail and a horn that pierced towards the sky, and those cold and emotionless dark golden eyes. This was a huge beast that was over 180 m long. What kind of beast is this? I've never seen it before. Looking at its length, it should be an emperor-level beast. For an emperor-level beast to appear in front of a military base, is it looking to die? The laser cannons will kill it immediately. The representatives and leaders of the countries were all discussing softly. However, everyone was staring at the video, waiting to see what would happen next. At the same time, when everyone present saw the mysterious beast, they all felt a strange sense of fear. However, the strength of the fear was different. Hong, Luo Feng and the others felt very weak. This made Hong, Thunder God, Luo Feng and the other absolute warriors suspicious. At their level, there shouldn't be anything on Earth that could make them feel fear. On the screen, 3 dazzling beams of light immediately shot towards the mysterious beast. Everyone in the meeting room held their breaths as they watched. The beams dissipated. What? The scales aren't even damaged? Impossible. Even the Emperor Beast, even though it can withstand the highest power laser cannons, it would still be injured. The meeting room immediately erupted. Even the most calm warriors, including Hong, Thunder God and Luo Feng, had a huge change in expression. Under the laser cannon's power, even the Emperor Beast, Hong and Luo Feng wouldn't dare say they were completely unharmed. Attention all, I can guarantee that those 3 shots were already at their highest power. The black-skinned president said seriously, "Please continue watching." Silence. Everyone continued to watch. On the screen, the mysterious beast opened its mouth. Simultaneously the space around it began to warp. One could see with the naked eye, the base that was much larger than the mysterious beast actually began to float, and it flew towards the beast's mouth, getting smaller and smaller. Finally the base was not even 5 m long and wide, swallowed by the beast in one gulp. God! Impossible! My God! No matter how calm the leaders were, no matter how calm the absolute warriors, they were all stunned at this moment. This scene had already completely surpassed the logic of Earth's humans. This scene had no way of using science to explain it. A base that was over 500 m long could actually fly, and it was constantly getting smaller? How was this possible? The base was eaten? The entire base of 50,000 soldiers, they were all eaten, not a single one survived. The black-skinned president said seriously. However, the black-skinned president took a deep breath. This is just the beginning. The black-skinned president pointed at the screen that was raising its head and roaring, with this terrifying mysterious beast as the leader. 2 emperor beasts and countless other sea creatures, listening to its orders, have already begun to attack inland. Saying that, the screen displayed the scene of the sea creatures madly advancing along the river. On the screen, the scene changed, appearing in another part of the North American continent. The mysterious beast had actually swallowed another base. Unstoppable! No matter how sturdy the base, how brave the soldiers, how powerful the fighters, it will just swallow them all in one gulp. Nightmare. Disaster. Doomsday. The black-skinned president looked at everyone in the meeting room. They were all silent. No one spoke for a while. P.S. This is the end of the first chapter. Just what is this mysterious beast? The next chapter will reveal its secrets. Chapter 237. The sea monsters are continuously advancing. With this mysterious monster in the lead, we have no way of stopping them. Everyone, what do you think we should do? The black-skinned president looked anxiously at the other people in the meeting room. Everyone had serious expressions on their faces. The black-skinned president said anxiously, "The death toll has already reached 210,800, that's 210,000 death notices." As he said that, the corners of his eyes were filled with tears. Everyone's hearts were heavy. Lives were still lost. Luo Feng stared at the frozen image of the mysterious monster on the screen. The mysterious monster was currently eating and killing American citizens. Even though he felt sorry for them, his emotions weren't too strong. Instead, he felt a heavy sense of pressure. Today, American citizens died. What about tomorrow? If his Chinese citizens were eaten by tens of thousands and died in large numbers? What kind of scene would that be? I definitely won't allow that to happen. Luo Feng clenched his fist. Where did this mysterious monster come from? I've never seen it before. 4 claws, yet it has wings, and these wings are covered in scales. How could it swallow the entire base in one gulp? Just what kind of monster is this? The discussion in the meeting room was low. The leaders, chairmen, and representatives all had expressions of worry on their faces. Faced with the sudden appearance of this mysterious and terrifying monster, everyone was somewhat panic-stricken. Even Hong and Thunder God had serious expressions on their faces. They were clear. To be able to make 2 grand emperors follow it, and not even the highest-powered laser cannons can damage a single scale. This mysterious monster's power far exceeds theirs. I got it. I got it. Suddenly, a loud English voice rang. The virtual space automatically translated Chinese into Luo Feng's ear. Got what? Luo Feng turned his head to look. Everyone in the meeting room turned their heads to look. All they saw was a bald, white-haired white old man yelling. Seeing everyone look, the bald white old man said, "My name is Clarence, from the HR Alliance. I'm in charge of the archaeological ruins." "What do you know?" Hong, who was dressed in black, stared at him. Everyone in the meeting room stared at him. The bald white old man slightly bowed before straightening his body. "I'm sure all the chairmen and representatives know. Reaching the representative level is actually just stepping into the Star Traveler Level 1 stage." Most of the representatives were calm. However, the leaders of some countries and the dozens of war gods attending this conference were all astonished. "Silence," Hong said in a low voice. Silence reigned. The bald old man Clarence continued, "According to some records in the archaeological ruins, the planetary state is divided into 9 levels, and above that is the star state. Above that was the universe level, and countless planets would only give birth to one universe-level warrior. However, in the vast universe, there are some terrifying and peculiar beasts, astral beasts. Hong, the thunder god, and the others were surprised. Apparently, they didn't know anything about star behemoth. Space beasts, their numbers are extremely rare. Any space beast that grows up can reach the universe level. It can easily destroy a planet. Clarence's eyes lit up as he pointed at the mysterious monster on the screen. This mysterious monster must be a devourer star behemoth. Devourers are a very powerful type of star behemoth. To be able to swallow the base, this mysterious monster has a special devouring ability. Only the star behemoths could have such terrifying monsters in the universe. Hence, it must be a devourer of the star behemoths, Clarence said confidently. The meeting room was silent for a few seconds, before a commotion broke out. What's the universe level? What star level, universe level? Space beast. 4 countless planets to give birth to a universe-level warrior. Don't tell me there are other planets with intelligent life? The meeting room was in an uproar. Obviously, the old man's information was shocking. Actually, due to the discovery of many archaeological ruins, many powers on Earth knew of the universe's basic information. For example, Hong and Thunder God, they were familiar with the cloud contact vines information, and some countries even knew of the Muya crystals. Hong and Thunder God felt a sense of danger, and wanted to work hard to reach the star level. Obviously, the upper echelons of Earth weren't ignorant. Only, the information was too shocking, hence it wasn't made public. Normally, after becoming a representative, one would become a country's upper echelon. Only then would one come into contact with these secrets. However, it was obvious that many in the meeting room didn't know about these things. Silence, Hong said. The meeting room immediately quietened down. All the warriors on Earth looked at Hong. What he said before was right, Hong said solemnly. Becoming a representative is actually just the Star Traveler level 1. And the Star Traveler level is split into 9 levels. Above the Star Traveler level, there's indeed the Star level. Above the Star level, there's indeed the Universe level. The Universe level is very strong, so strong that it can easily destroy Earth. I don't want to talk about anything else. Hong's voice grew colder. I only know that this mysterious beast, since it's a space beast, then this calamity will be hard to solve. We have to work together to think of a way to get through this. Clarence, send me all the information on the space beast. Clarence paused, and looked at the HR Alliance chairman Isidona beside him. Isidona nodded slightly. All right. Clarence nodded. HM, can you tell me, what's the approximate strength of this space beast? Is it at the universe level? Hong said seriously. If it was a universe-level being, then there wouldn't be a need to resist, because they wouldn't even have the ability to resist. They could just arrange for the escape plan and the human race inheritance plan. No, it can't be a universe level. The bald old man shook his head. According to the information I know, universe-level space beasts have bodies that are at least a few thousand meters long. Some are even more ridiculous, over 10,000 meters long. This swallowing beast is only 180 meters long. According to my estimates, it's a Star Traveler level 8 or 9, or even a star level. Hong and Thunder God exchanged glances. At this level, humanity might still be able to resist. Luo Feng stared at the mysterious beast on the screen. Actually, it was easy to guess. The Emperor Beast was roughly a Star Traveler level 6. This mysterious beast was much stronger than the Emperor. Then a Star Traveler level 8 or 9 was very possible. Maybe even a star level. If it's a star level, then it'll be troublesome. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Everybody sit down. The third chairman M.O. Henderson shouted. Right now, everybody think of a way to deal with this. Let's temporarily call it the swallowing beast. How do we deal with it? If we don't kill it, more and more people will die. Within the meeting room, everyone sat down and began to discuss. Even though it was a discussion, in truth, humanity really didn't have any tricks up their sleeves. The strongest single-target attack weapon of the past. The laser cannon, the highest power laser cannon, couldn't even leave a mark on the swallowing beast's scales. What other tricks did humanity have? Only one was left: nuclear bombs. The power of the nuclear bombs was indeed very strong. However, normally only when the target was at the center of the nuclear bomb would the killing power be strong enough. And after using the nuclear bombs, the large amounts of radiation etc. could easily cause the beasts to mutate. Hence, under normal circumstances, humanity wouldn't use nuclear bombs. That wasn't worth it. However, this time, they had no other choice. Humanity didn't have any powerful trump cards left. Use nuclear bombs? What's the yield? 50 million tons? Or even higher? Do you have any confidence? The pinnacle of the world's people were discussing anxiously. Speed. At the start of the video, the mysterious beast flew from the water surface to mid-air. What's its speed? Someone immediately shouted. Very quickly the data came out. The first time the swallowing beast appeared, its flying speed was 13,082 meters per second. And in the subsequent satellite recordings, there was one that was even faster, reaching 14,899 meters per second. An American worker's voice, through the network, was transmitted into the virtual space meeting room. That fast? Hong and Thunder God's expressions changed greatly. Their speeds were far from that level. Luo Feng's expression was ugly too. He was currently a Star Traveler Level 3 spirit reader. Even with the soaring shuttle, his flying speed was only over 5,000 meters per second. And that was with him being a spirit reader and relying on the soaring shuttle. Luo Feng estimated that even a fighter like Thunder God wouldn't be as fast as him when flying in the air. But the difference between him and the swallowing beast was so huge. Babata, Babata. Luo Feng's consciousness called out. What are you looking for me for? I'm sleeping. Babata communicated with Luo Feng. Within the virtual space, AIs could enter. After all, this was built by AIs. And in terms of intelligence, Babata was much stronger than the intelligence of the Palace of War Gods. Hence, even though he had entered quietly, the War God Palace's AI didn't sense anything at all. Tell me, just what is that monster on the screen? Is there any way to kill it? Luo Feng said. Right now he could only ask for Babata's help. Babata's vision was much broader than the humans of Earth. Oh? The demon Babata will take a look. Babata said proudly. Luo Feng waited quietly. My God! Babata shouted in shock. Damn, where did you get this video? How did you get it? What video? It's from Earth. Right now this mysterious monster is killing people on Earth. Luo Feng said. On Earth? You're saying the golden horned beast has appeared on Earth. Babata couldn't believe it at all. Right now it's in North America. Luo Feng said. How is this possible? In Master's over 60 million years of life, he's roamed countless galaxies, yet he's only met 3 space beasts, and none of them had such a high-level bloodline. Babata couldn't believe it. Earth actually has a golden horned beast. Luo Feng was dissatisfied. Babata, speak clearly. Last time I've told you. The space beasts of the universe are extremely powerful, and the space beasts have many bloodlines. They're split into 3 levels, the strongest of which is when they grow up, at their peak, they're sector lords. This is the universe's strongest bloodline. I've introduced the flame star beast that grows up by eating stars. And the one you're looking at is the same one that stands at the pinnacle of the space beasts, the golden horned beast. It's even more savage than the flame star beast. It's even more famous. Once it fully grows up, it'll be a sector lord. The golden horned beast and the flame star beast both belong to the space beast's devouring type. However, the flame star beast is of the fire attribute, while the golden horned beast is of the metal attribute. And they're both at the pinnacle, even stronger than our humans' strongest bloodline. The golden horned beast is extremely savage and its attacks are extremely strong. Babata exclaimed. It's over, it's appeared on Earth, your Earth is finished, there's no hope, it's finished. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 238. It's over, there's no hope, it's over. Babata's words were like a heavy hammer smashing into Luo Feng's soul. He was completely stunned. Earth is over? That sounds very extensive. However, in the distant past, 5,000 years ago, starting from the ancestors of China, the 3 emperors and 5 emperors, Xia, Shang, Zhou, Spring, Autumn and Warring States, countless legendary figures were born, illuminating an era. Qin Huang, Han Wu, Lu Guan and Zhang of the 3 kingdoms, Red Cliff, etc., Jin, northern and southern dynasties, Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming and Qing. All the way until the 21st century, humanity lived in a modern society. During the Grand Nirvana period, humanity fled. Until today, they lived and worked in the headquarter cities. In one of the headquarter cities, in a high school, there was a student. His name was Luo Feng. His classmates, teachers, his brothers in the dojo, instructors, his parents, his loved ones, all the people he came in contact with since he was young. They were just a very small and inconspicuous drop of water in the Huaxia people. And the Chinese race was a part of the human race on Earth. Now it's over? No. Luo Feng felt his soul tremble, piercing pain. If the entire human race on Earth perished, what was the point of him living? We must kill it. Luo Feng stared at the golden-horned beast on the screen in the meeting room. It must die. Luo Feng, what are you thinking? Babata asked. Babata, the golden-horned beast must die. Luo Feng said to Babata. Are you having a fever? You, a Star Traveler level 3 spirit reader, actually dared to provoke a star-level golden-horned beast? You have the Yunmo heritage, but the golden-horned beast's background is huge too. Its bloodline is noble, and its power is strong. Wanting to kill it is simply a dream. Babata said. We don't have to fight it head-on, even if it's dangerous, we can just let you hide in the Yunmo planet ship. Once it closes, no matter how strong it is, it won't be able to destroy it. And with the Yunmo planet's shocking weight, it won't be able to swallow it. No. Luo Feng rejected Babata's suggestion. Don't be silly, at most, we'll let your family enter the Yunmo planet ship too. Babata said. Babata, we can't just hide like a turtle. He had escaped this calamity. Then, he walked out to take a look. The entire human race on Earth had been wiped out. My parents' co-workers and neighbors are all dead. Only our family is left? What's the point? How do you expect my parents to live? How am I supposed to live? Luo Feng asked. Unimaginable. That scene was unimaginable to Luo Feng, terrifying. This scene made one's heart turn cold. I can't understand the way you humans think. Babata was dissatisfied. You're not even his match, yet you're still resisting. People can't leave society. Humans cannot separate themselves from their nation and motherland. If you are all alone on Earth, then you are all alone. It's a fate worse than death. Luo Feng felt a chill just thinking about it. Babata, when a country is destroyed, the surviving citizens have a name, they are called slaves of a country. Earth is my root. The Chinese people were his roots. If the roots died, the branches and leaves would also wither and wither. As for himself, he was just one of the better leaves among the countless branches and leaves. If the roots died, how could the leaves live? Babata, tell me how to kill it. Luo Feng thought. Oh, that's impossible. Babata didn't hesitate much. Babata, you can build a ship. Don't tell me you can't build a powerful weapon to kill it? Luo Feng asked in his mind, extremely anxious. A weapon to kill a star level? Babata understood Luo Feng's anxiousness and said seriously, Luo Feng, in the universe, a star level is already considered a powerful warrior. A universe-level warrior can even rely on his body to fight against an interstellar fleet, which means normal interstellar fleets have a hard time killing a universe level. Killing a star level requires a powerful weapon. That level of weapon is extremely complicated to build. It requires at least a few years of effort. Babata said, however, with the golden horned beast's speed, it can definitely sweep through the entire Earth within a month. Luo Feng understood. The golden horned beast leads countless sea monsters and sweeps through the entire Earth. It will indeed be very fast. And Luo Feng, a powerful weapon is easy to build, but what about firing it? You have to fire and hit the target. That's very difficult. Babata said, so, if you really want to resist, there's only one way. Speak. Luo Feng was excited. Your Earth has some universe battleship wreckage. Those wreckages may be equipped with a powerful weapon. Even though it's been corroded for a long time, it can't be used anymore. However, if I modify it, maybe it can be used again. Babata said, of course this depends on luck. After all, a weapon that can kill a star level is considered powerful in an interstellar battleship. For example, that thin ship in your head's headquarters is only a transport ship. The weapons it uses are usually weaker. Luo Feng listened, his heart filled with desire. Right, looking for ancient ruins, looking for weapons that exceed Earth's civilization. Babata, tell me, this golden horned beast's exact strength. Luo Feng asked in his heart, knowing yourself and your enemy is the only way to win 100 battles. Babata said, look, beside that golden engraved horn on its head, isn't there a protrusion? Luo Feng looked carefully at the screen. Right. That golden horned beast's head, other than the horn that seemed to pierce through the skies, there was a protrusion beside it. The golden horned beast's strength is very easy to identify, because at different stages it has different characteristics. Infant stage, there's only one horn on its forehead. Growth stage, there's a second horn on its forehead. Youth stage, there's a third horn on its forehead. Adult stage, there's a fourth horn. Pinnacle stage, there's a fifth horn. The higher its strength, the more complex the golden engravings on its horn, until finally, the horn is gold in color. That's why it's called the golden horned beast. Babata said. Luo Feng realized. Its second horn is just a protrusion. I think it just entered the star level not long ago. Babata continued, however, its bloodline is too strong, its growth rate is shocking. During its growth stage, it will madly swallow large amounts of metal and absorb. Its strength will constantly rise. Hence, if we want to kill it, we have to kill it quickly, otherwise it will only get stronger and stronger. Luo Feng understood. A fully grown golden horned beast that could reach the sector lord level. Its growth rate would definitely be fast. No wonder it swallowed the base, it's almost all metal. Luo Feng exclaimed. Relax, as a swallowing beast, even though it has an internal world. It's still a little punk that just finished its infant stage, its daily appetite is limited. Babata said, however, Luo Feng, I have to warn you, none of the space beasts are easy to deal with, their bloodline contains ancient memories. To kill a space beast, it's very difficult. To kill one of the space beasts, one of the top-ranked, golden horned beasts, it's even harder. Master once heard that there was an undying in the universe who met a sector lord-level golden horned beast, and tried to kill it. In theory, it's too easy for an undying to kill a sector lord. However, even though that golden horned beast couldn't win, it actually managed to escape. Babata exclaimed, this type of pinnacle bloodline is incredibly rare, you may be able to defeat it, but to kill it, that's very hard. Luo Feng was silent. If I don't try, how would I know? Luo Feng said, Babata, this war, I have no choice. Either it dies, or, to destroy the humans of Earth, I'll die first. Luo Feng said solemnly. Luo Feng had never thought of himself as great or noble. He could watch as a base was swallowed by the golden horned beast. However, if the humans of Earth were to be destroyed, if the Chinese were to be destroyed, if this branch of his had no roots, then what was the point of living? He might as well die a glorious death. You stubborn brain. Babata was helpless. It's a pity the UNMO planet ship doesn't have any weapons. Actually, against an undying, those energy weapons were useless. Like the UNMO planet ship, the entire ship was made of mixed copper essence. One piece was over a ton. How much did the entire ship weigh? With the UNMO planet ship's strength, as long as it accelerated to a shocking speed, along with its incredibly sharp edges. Normally, when flying in the universe and entering a meteorite group, it would just charge straight through, slicing through the meteorites like tofu. One hit. Even a planet could be sliced through. Killing a star level was like cutting vegetables. It was a pity. The UNMO planet ship was damaged, it couldn't fly at all. While Luo Feng was discussing with Babata, the others were discussing too. Old Wang, if it's a Star Traveler level 8 or 9 monster, we still have hope. However, if it's a star level, our chances of winning are at most 10%. Two old men sat together, discussing softly. Oh, Oldly, have you come to a conclusion? A short old man with white hair said softly. Before the Grand Nirvana, there wasn't even a place to test the large nuclear bombs. However, during the headquarter city era, there were plenty of empty spaces over 10,000 kilometers superscript 2. The conditions are there. The old man nodded. The detailed plan, we'll leave it to the various countries' experts to discuss. I'm thinking, if we fail. You're talking about the race inheritance plan. The old man looked at him. The old man looked back at him. The two of them, during the Grand Nirvana period, they had built the headquarter city, they had spent countless amounts of effort for the Chinese race, they naturally couldn't bear to part with their country and race. The commoners are all living in peace now, and the apocalypse is coming? The old man closed his eyes, tears welling in them, after which he opened them, his gaze resolute. I believe it's the same for every country. We'll start the inheritance plan in secret. If we humans on Earth really can't resist, then we'll start on a large scale. We'll discuss the details after we leave the virtual space. The old man nodded, however he felt a heaviness that made him unable to breathe. Maybe the situation isn't that bad. The old man thought to himself. The entire meeting room, whether it was the fighters Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, or the various countries' leaders, even the specially invited weapons experts, they were all racking their brains to come up with a solution. They were all members of Earth. No one was willing to give up. P.S. The following chapters are a little hard to write. Tomato doesn't want to rush. Tomato wants to write about the events of the apocalypse. To resonate, that's a good book. Let Tomato think carefully and write slowly. Write more in one go. Today's 1 chapter. Tomorrow's 3 chapters. The day after tomorrow's 3 chapters too. Make it up to everyone. Asterisk.